everybody in this room using Kung Fu. Fight everybody in this room using Kung Fu. It's the Epic Kenny Fight Club. A lot of dicks in one room. A lot of dicks in one room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to be exact. That's a lot. It's a sausage fest.
Is this where the dicks hang out?
It sure is.
A lot of dudes up in here.
We have the great Tareq Azim. In English, that's Tareq Azim.
Some refer to him as leader to the stars, leader of the stars.
Leader of men. Hails from a long line of Pashtun/Afghan generals.
Leader of
we're
human beings.
We're gonna get into what he does, but I think it's important to talk about Jake Shields because.
Oh, I was gonna have him guess. You fucked it up. I was gonna have him guess. I was gonna list off.
But wouldn't they see it anyway when they?
Nah, but we could list it off.
Yeah.
Have him guess. You know.
Yeah.
Like let's just go through some of the guys.
Because then they'd be guessing and we wouldn't hear them.
Let's educate him on the guys that he's beat.
That's what I want to do.
Because you were surprised.
Well, I've been watching Jake forever, but I was surprised. I had to have my memory refreshed because he's fought the best in the world. But let's just go through it for a second. Let's just go through.
Carlos Condit, who he sucks him off every time I talk about.
He's a good fighter.
He's a great fighter.
Jake beat him.
Couldn't be better looking. Couldn't be more skilled. Couldn't be smarter. Adjust. I do.
Yeah, it's bad.
But you beat him.
So
you beat Carlos Condit.
Damian Maia,
who many, with the exception of Jacare, consider to be the that's how you say it, which is crocodile, but considered to be the best guy to ever step into the octagon.
More submissions than Jacare in the UFC.
Right, so he's a freak jiu-jitsu wise. So he beats him.
Woodley,
Tyron Woodley, who was made in a lab.
He was made to fight. It looks like.
Yeah, made in a lab.
Or be a superhero, either way.
He's a superhero.
Or in Straight Outta Compton.
And he's got Holy Ghost power running through his veins.
Robbie Lawler, current champ.
Robbie the Terminator Lawler.
It's crazy.
And let's keep going.
Dan Henderson,
Olympian,
Hendo.
who they say is so strong he's made of like cable, wood, and rawhide.
Sounds about right. That dude's an animal.
He's an animal, and you've beaten them all.
Okami,
he's about 7 feet tall.
He's my size.
He's the largest Japanese man on the
I
planet.
don't know how that guy makes 170. He's dropping back down to 70. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
can't be healthy. Are we forgetting anyone?
As far as I'm concerned, he was beating the shit out of a guy named Husmar Paul Harris.
Paul Harris.
Who's Paul Harris? And until he started poking you in your eyes, gouging your eyes out, which some consider cheating.
Would you say he's the most dangerous fighter you've ever fought?
Yeah, the guy's insane. Because one thing, a guy trying to knock you out, when a guy's trying to poke your eyes out, that's like.
He's trying to injure you.
Yeah, he's really trying to injure you. Like you could lose an eye, try to rip your leg off. That guy's insane. And
T, you came up based the game plan for this, right? So when you're game playing for a guy like Paul Harris.
We weren't prepared for the eye pokes. We didn't really.
What can you do? Because did you speak to the commission in the back? Like, hey man, make sure you let him know not to hold on to submissions. Like this is his gig.
Absolutely, yeah, to that and the referee. But the biggest concern was you got a guy like Paul Harris in the cage that you got to worry about his scummy tactics, and second, someone like Mazzagatti, who just doesn't understand or get it.
That's the perfect.
I believe you called him. I believe you referred to him as the degenerate.
That's his middle name. It's his middle name.
Yeah, the commission continues.
That was the perfect combo.
Like a good ref.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so it was a perfect combo for an outcome of that sort,
So when you see the eye pokes, are you guys saying stuff to the ref?
I was losing.
It's tough for you.
It was crazy because I was telling the ref over and over, he's poking my guy, he's gouging my eyes, and the ref just kept ignoring it.
I was
and
losing my
mind. Like,
mind,
hey, I'm going to handle it, and I'm not going to handle it.
Well, he stopped. At one point, he stopped the fight, and he goes, "Hey, you!" And he goes like this. He waves your eyes. He waves across your eyes. He goes, "See this area? You can't do that." And he broad strokes your eye area.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, he broad strokes your eye area with a fan. Like he tucks his thumb, and it's like a duck wing. And he goes, "See that area? Don't stick your fingers in that area."
No thumbs in there.
Yeah,
that works.
In there.
That works.
Literally, as soon as you go start again, he reaches back, puts his thumb right back in my eye.
Right. Thanks a lot, Doctor No Help.
You did nothing.
The ref's just like,
Mazzagatti, you did nothing.
Sifu was yelling at the top of his lungs. They're telling me, hey, you need to calm down because you're mic'd up. I was just yelling at the top of my lungs, everything that come out of my mouth I could think about. And even Sifu was like, hey, Tareq, I was like, look what he's doing. He's like, you're right. That's 8
Ray
times.
Sifu?
Yeah.
You were actually insulting people's mothers, I think, in there. You literally went after their mother. That's when you know Tareq is angry. When Tareq, with a smile on his face, said, well, it's just incredible that they would allow an animal like this to fight who was raised by animals.
You were about to get in the cage and fight him.
Well, I made a promise to Jake.
What was the promise? Wait, before or after the fight?
way before the fight.
What was the
I
promise?
said, if anything like that happens or he pulls on too long, then I owe you by jumping in the cage and trying to kick him in his face.
That's what you want.
That was the intention.
We tried.
I really tried.
They stopped you pretty good. I feel like they
A
knew it.
handful of people, yeah. Yeah, it was.
It takes
What if you would have went in there and gouged you in the eyes, and then grabbed your leg? That'd been
speechless.
That'd been
I was
sick.
just like, damn, he won.
Ow!
He really won.
It takes
Attach your legs.
It takes a lot of men to hold a Pashtun warrior like Tareq
Probably a good
back.
thing Nick and Nate and all them were already bounced out too.
Yeah, because they were fighting Nurmagomedov, right?
Yeah, they got in that.
Habib.
Yeah, they got in some kind of fight right before that.
Yeah, man.
You mean Nick and Nate
Yeah.
fight on the street?
Yeah.
Insane, right?
That's weird, man. The
would
scrap
never think.
pack?
It's the first time they got an altercation.
So you had your hearing, and what happened with that?
Well, they told me I could speak for the hearing, so I sat in the line with my attorney for a whole hour, and then when my turn comes up, I don't get to speak, and they just suspended me and moved my hearing a month away.
How long is the suspension?
They didn't say, and then my attorney tried calling him. They didn't call him back. It's just so difficult dealing with them. It's like we have
It's called the government.
yeah, the government. I love government agencies like
Yeah.
DMV. They work really well.
Damn.
Yeah. So
nothing
vote
got
for
done.
bigger government, everybody. It's really
So the
smart.
belt's vacant, right? So they stripped him, suspend him indefinitely.
They didn't say. They moved.
I haven't
both
heard
hearings.
any
Oh,
terms
there's
yet
nothing
on
on
what
him.
exactly it
But
is.
I know they stripped him of the title,
He
right?
doesn't hold the title anymore.
So then they're just waiting for your hearing to decide
Yeah,
what to
so I
do.
guess next month is my hearing. So
What do you want to see happen?
I don't know. I mean, he should at least get
In a
he
perfect
should at
world,
least be suspended for a year,
if
not
Jake's the
longer.
commissioner, how's it go down?
It's a tough choice. It's like, do you suspend the guy for life or do you give him a year? I don't know.
I
How
don't
many
think you
times-
suspend him for life.
Yeah, probably a year. You got to.
But
be
how many
reasonable.
times has this guy been
But does
suspended?
the promotion want to use him is the question. If I was a commissioner, I'd probably give him a year and then leave it up promotions if they want to.
Bellator signed him, I bet.
Yeah, it's hard to say. He brings in a lot of attention because he is an interesting
He's
guy.
scary.
He is a great fighter, but it's like.
He's a very talented
But
fighter.
who's going to want to fight this guy? He's clearly going to keep fouling. He's going to clearly try to break things.
I agree.
And
How many times has he been
suspended?
suspended? He got thrown out of the UFC.
Several times.
He's now been thrown out of the world, whatever it's called.
Not
But
just
no,
yeah.
no,
Series of
no
fighting.
commissions
Series of
have banned him
fighting.
before though. So he's been suspended by the UFC, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit different.
It's a little bit different, but what really bothered me is that holding submissions or whatever is one thing. Hitting in the kidneys, everybody's going to get what they're going to do. But when you were outclassing him like that, and I don't know why, I don't usually get that angry.
He was so.
I was
I've never seen Callen so emotional. For sure, invest more.
I was,
in my
I was
fights,
pretty
though,
angry
huh?
too.
Huh? You met Jake once. He rolled with you and broke your neck.
I was so mad. I know. He basically, I came out of that rolling session a new woman, and I don't appreciate it. I literally still haven't. My cock still hasn't
Haven't
come
recovered
out of
yet?
its shell.
I loved every minute of it. By the way,
You watched, you
I was
sick.
rolling
It
with
was a
Joseph.
fun 5
I was
minutes.
rolling with Joseph, Tarek's brother, and I'm like, "Hey, hold on, let me watch Callen." And I see him just giving a guillotine right
I
away.
like Callen, but he's got such a big mouth. I'm like, I
have to.
got him.
You would've came on here?
and say, "Oh, Jake
Oh.
Shields sucks. He only tapped me out once."
Bro,
It's
I'll
true.
tell you how
See,
it went.
You got
True.
guys like this. You got.
He wouldn't have said it on air behind him, like, bro, everyone says Jake's so good, man. I rolled with him. I'm telling you, man.
He only caught
Not
me
much.
once.
Not much, man.
Well, I said that about Frankie Edgar because I've been boxing and he seems so much smaller. And I said, I just casually said, I wonder if I could keep
was
I wonder
dead-
if I
he
could
was
keep
dead
him away
serious.
with a jab.
Frankie
And
would
Brendan-
destroy you. He would destroy
of
you.
course. Brendan goes, oh wait, oh that's so cute. Oh, the 155-pound champ at one point, and who's maybe has some of the best boxing in the UFC. Oh, and you think that's so adorable because you hang out with fighters, and now that you're close to them, you actually think maybe you're getting close to them as fighters.
I see blood red when he makes comments like that. So the other day we go and watch
I'm
Sean.
gonna do a comedy show.
Yeah, right. You're gonna do comedy next. We go and watch Sean Porter spar Shane Mosley.
Oh, beast.
And Bryan didn't know who Sean Porter was. I'm a huge fan, right? I follow boxing very closely. Sean Porter's up there moving. He's not going that hard, but he's a big muscular dude. And Bryan goes, I mean, he's just too muscular, man. I'd like to see him use some speed, huh? A little too much power.
This is the idiot. that I am.
He's
You
dead.
should coach him.
He's dead serious. Well, this is what's wrong with fans, right? They think they know.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I slowly look over. It took every ounce of me not to choke him like Homer Simpson does to Bart. And I go, that's Sean Porter, man. He goes, what? I go, oh, God. That's Sean Porter. He's ranked number 2 or 3 in the world, man.
Yeah.
For sure. Don't tell him how to fight.
And by the way, then he turned it up, and when he was sparring the Argentinian guy, and I went, oh,
There it is.
oh my God.
There he is.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he's just messing around.
Everybody should have to roll with a guy like Jake, or any of you
And
guys.
box a guy like that guy.
Yeah, because as a regular idiot like myself who does I hop around a gym, did a little high school sports, it's very important to know. I know, but I just sometimes, all of us
Sometimes you
forget.
get out of your lane.
I
Did
fucked
you
with him.
take credit for what he advanced against the Argentinian guy, like as if like you said something and he heard?
Well, can I be honest with you? My presence is inspirational
yeah,
from what I hear.
I've experienced it myself,
true.
so I wasn't sure.
See, and that's from
true.
Tareq Azim. So
That's a big.
I did mess with Brennan. We hung out with Tim Kennedy, who looks like, again, he actually makes Tyron Woodley look like he's got nutritional deficiency. He couldn't be thicker. And he goes like this. He says to Brennan, he says, and we're going to roll. And I went, yes. And he goes, oh. I wasn't included.
He
in
put
that.
his hat on and just slowly started laughing.
Which was the appropriate. I got
That
so
was even worse than getting tapped a bunch of times.
right. I got excited.
He wouldn't even train with you.
Right. I got so excited. I was like, "Hey guys, am I part of the party?" And they're like, "Huh?"
No.
So
you're hanging out with guys. You're hanging out with tough guys. So
Just because I'm hanging out with you and Joe Rogan, I'm not gonna try to jump on stage with you.
exactly.
I've got my bit ready.
But this is what happens. You start hanging out, and you're like, "Well, maybe I'm like that," because I'll walk around with Tareq. He's got some nice tits on him, and I find myself actually pushing my chest out. But then it just doesn't. I look at us, and I saw us both in the reflection of the fucking shop window, and again, I'm not quite 220 pounds, but there was a point. Oh yeah, so we were talking about Tim Kennedy, and I said just to mess with Brendan, just to mess with him. I go like this. I go, yeah, he's tough on the ground. I go, I'd like to actually. I wonder if I could. That's all I said, just joking. And before I even got it out, Brendan goes like this. He was like literally trying to be protective. He goes, no. He couldn't get it out.
Get it out.
No.
My brain circuit. I was like,
don't say that.
God, no. Please
Don't say that. He'll fuck you. He won't beat you up. He can fuck you.
I don't want to kill Bryan. I love Bryan. But there's a certain part I can only take so much, man.
You just gotta let him know.
But think about it. Bryan's super knowledgeable on MMA. Super knowledgeable, especially compared to your average
For a
MMA
civilian.
fan. And he, you know what? He thinks like that. So think about the armchair quarterbacks.
Oh my
God. Go try and catch a pass from Kaepernick. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah.
Go catch a pass from Tim Tebow. Let me know how that goes.
Right.
Well, this is what I say to everybody who's like me. Everybody who, whenever they see me, guys like you, and I put the three of you in this category. Whenever a friend of mine who's been an athlete says, "This guy can kick my ass," I go, you have to understand something, and I hate to say this, it's going to hurt you. You're a grown man. You've done some sports. They could fuck you.
If
they wanted to, they don't beat you up. They could hold you down and fuck you.
Well, what else?
And that's important.
What
to
else
know.
we deal with a lot is Bryan had a buddy in town, this small guy. When you grow up doing high level athletics, you know the truth behind certain things. Like when a kid comes through, like, yeah, I ran a 4.2 in the 40. I'm like, that's a lie. His buddy, every bit of 50, goes, yeah, I ran a 4.4 in the 40.
He's at 4.6.
He goes, I ran a 4.6 in the 40.
I saw you stiffen up.
I don't know the guy at all. I just went,
and I went,
and
probably
he goes,
not.
He goes, I bet I could do it right now. Okay, I was trying to be polite. I'm like, no, man, that's not true.
But I jumped in. I went,
Before I
probably not. And in fact, on your best day, probably not close to 4.6, don't you think? Would you say? He kind of came to. He was like, all right, maybe you're right.
So let's get back to you guys before we just take this thing over. How did you two meet? I don't even know this story.
Well, I met. I was here in Los Angeles over at the academy and over at Wild Card. And my family's from San Francisco, and Hoist was up there training for his fight. I think it was against
Matt Hughes.
And
His comeback fight?
I think it was his comeback fight, or was it the Hughes fight?
I think I'm pretty sure it was Hughes.
Yeah, it was like 2006 or so, and I was back in San Francisco. Back in Los Angeles, and he was doing some training up in San Francisco at Fairtex, and Halleck was going up there to train with him, and said to me like, hey, when you come back up to the Bay next, Hoist will be up there doing some training for this fight. Come up to Fairtex, and Hoist talking about these tough new young guys that are around. He thought it'd be great work for myself as well. Then I went up there and walked into Fairtex, and I saw like 7 just pit bulls sitting at the ring, just staring at the door as if they just saw fresh meat. And I was like, holy shit, like, these guys are just relentless looking guys. And almost immediately, instead of like sitting back and watching these guys, I got geared up and got to spar every single one of them. Josh McDonald.
Boxing?
Jay. We went MMA, but I had to wear boxing gloves.
You had to wear it, and they didn't.
They were all MMA gloves, yeah.
I think you chose to wear those.
Right, you fuck out of here. So
they did you dirty.
They saw the shadow boxing.
Yeah.
They saw the shadow boxing. We're
gonna beat this new guy up.
We're gonna beat this new guy up. We're gonna do our takedowns. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Long story short, we ended up sparring and kind of get like lots of mutual respect almost immediately. And I just decided to stay back up in San Francisco. And since then, we just teamed up. And
because you guys are super close.
Yeah, I had him take over training me pretty early.
Jake, it seems like your team, Nick Diaz and all those guys, and Gilbert Melendez, you guys seem so close.
Yeah, we're a really close team. I think we all started together. Most of these teams, everyone moves in and starts training, but we all started from when we were young. We were all, total broke teenagers just trying to make it as fighters, and luckily we all, we worked really hard and succeeded.
You guys are one of the rare teams that have stuck together, because all these super camps, you can say what you want, but they're
not loyal.
They're not loyal.
They don't start with each other because it's different. Because we all started together. We came up together. So it's like So it's like family, you know. Like Gil's like my little brother. I dragged him in the gym. We wrestled together. We used to go out and chase chicks. That's how I knew Gil. He was the guy, my party friend. We'd go out chasing chicks every weekend. He was a good wingman. But then I'm like, hey, come start training with me. Dragged him into fighting. And then I knew Nick from there. He used to started dragging his brother in. So it became like me and Nick would spar, and then Gil and Nate would spar. And we just kind of kept pushing each other.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I'd been hearing about these guys for a while because
Yeah.
I got to meet Jake and Gilbert back in 2002 or so through Dave Terrell. So he's kind of all I knew in the Bay Area because I was in college at Fresno
Some
State.
of the best jiu-jitsu in the
Yeah, he
world.
was just
David
absolutely
Terrell,
great
freak.
guy. Like one of
Super
the
freak.
coolest dudes in the world and completely open.
Huge fan of
And I
him.
would come up all the way from Fresno to go up to train with him because I was in college back then. And I'd met Jake and Gilbert way back then. So when Hoist has said that, hey, I got these young guys that that are up here at the fair, that's going to be great for you. Come on in and meet them. I already knew who these guys were and kind of their level of game, obviously through Terrell.
And I met T through Henner and Hiron Gracie, and we were friends right away. Or did we meet before that?
We met way before that. We met in New Orleans.
Oh, that's right. I was there with
Trione.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
you were
Munoz.
doing the Dolphin.
That's right.
What's
I was
the
doing
dolphin?
No, it's the worm.
The worm.
I was doing
He
the worm.
I was like, man,
I was
this guy
dancing
is
and doing
awesome.
the worm.
Oh, so it's the worm, Tareq.
Yeah.
It's not the dolphin.
Yeah, so it was before I think
specific,
you moved out.
please?
I think you were still in Denver back
Yeah,
then.
and I was thinking about moving out.
You
here.
can do the worm, bro?
Bet you're asking.
You're a big boy.
Oh, I know.
That's a big worm, huh?
Big old earthworm.
Was that right after
Big
your
old
show? Was that
Earthworm
after-
Jim.
Was that right after when you were on the Ultimate Fighter?
No, that was. I think that was. Man, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then I think we really started to hit it off over in Anaheim when Jake was fighting Campman. His
Yeah,
first UFC fight.
And then because I was fighting Gonzaga,
Yeah.
and we were in the same corner, we were in the back,
Right.
And because I've been a fan of Jake's forever, and I remember I was super nervous because Gonzaga's like my first big fight, and I told myself, I said, if I
Yikes.
don't beat him, I'm going to retire. So
Exactly.
there's a lot of pressure.
Really?
On me.
You said that to yourself? Wow.
Because I said, if I can't beat Gonzaga, then I'm just going to be a guy. I don't want to do this. So I remember I was so nervous. I put so much pressure on myself. And me and Jake were sitting, getting ready to board the bus. I don't know if you remember this. I go, hey, man, you still get nervous? And Jake goes, yeah, man, if you're not nervous, that's not good. And it made me feel so much better. I was
Yeah,
like,
the
I was like,
nerves
I'm
never
nervous
gone
as
away.
shit. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
They never go away, Jake?
Not for me. They haven't never gone
Yeah.
away for you. I've been nervous it gets less, but there's
It
always
gets less. I've had fights where I didn't care as much. And I was
Yeah.
nervous, and I lost everyone.
But there's exactly.
a
so
bad-
usually when you're a little nervous, it's
bad.
more of a good thing. If you don't care, exactly, it's
And then T, you've kind of taken this unique role because you're such a leader. I think people gravitate towards you. Let's just go. I'm not trying to jack you off here with my feet, but let's just go over with some of
Big
the
feet.
big
That would
old-
hurt.
Big old jack off feet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I
Check
mean,
out these
you
size
got guys
14s.
approaching like Marshawn Lynch, Alden Smith, Tucker. You have freaking God. I don't even know where to begin. You got Ramsey, obviously Jake Shields. You got Gilbert Melendez. You got Luke Rockhold. You have these just monsters in the gym, and you have
And
this.
you train with him.
You train with them, but you're also this kind of not only spiritual leader, but you have this kind of aura with you that attracts people to you. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get people like that to jump on board. Because think of a guy like Marshawn Lynch. How many people are in his ear? Think of a guy like Alden Smith. What?
Yeah.
Remember Alden Smith?
Yeah. I mean, like
I'm
a
talking about a freak, man.
freak athlete.
So where did all this come from?
I don't think it's necessarily myself and this aura of myself. I think it's just that common understanding of one another. Individuals that have a very similar philosophical crossover on what they intend to do. And I think that there's not many people who can relate to that if they're not as ambitious or have that level of self-belief.
True.
And I think just like in our basic communication with one another where we're just kind of like, yo, here's what I'd love to accomplish and here are my ideals. But the one difference between I think myself and our stable and our homies and our entire group of individuals is that we have no problem owning up to our deficiencies in front of one another.
Yeah.
Right?
that's
And a lot
interesting.
of times when you own up to your deficiencies or you deal with particular deficiencies, then society judges you, right? Or these commissions judge you or individuals judge you so it makes you rebel about, well, I'm trying to be myself. You're not letting me be myself. But when you're consistently in an environment where your entire circle is like, hell yeah, I believe in you, which is something that lacks in the world, I think, right?
Yes.
When's the last time someone's ever told you I believe in you in a goal or a dream?
True.
When you say that.
Well, you've created a community, Tareq. Like, that's what I got from being in San Francisco. And Brennan and I talked about it. We're like, I'm so jealous of that they have such a tight-knit group of dudes, which is so important.
It's
right?
everything,
And
right?
also
It's a
guys
community
from
of
different fields too. It's not
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
athletes.
No.
He works some of the biggest business leaders in the country. So he brings in
For
people
sure.
from like all networks of life. Is interesting.
I'd say it's a community of dream chasers. If I had to sum your goal up,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
think-
community of dream chasers.
Thanks, man. But I also believe it's just an ideal I had of just really wanting to create a big kids playground.
And did it start with Empower? Was it Empower? So you first of all, Tareq owns a wonderful gym, Empowers, in San Francisco. So was that like you were like, I'm going to create this kind of environment and then go from there?
Yeah, well, kind of. I think the whole thing actually started in Afghanistan.
You got to tell this story. I was
Please
gonna
tell
ask
the
you,
story.
because
A lot of
people don't.
Somebody you jump in.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize.
Fucking
Fishing
here, Bryan.
Hey, Tareq, talk into the mic first of all. Anyway,
you're
but
good.
a lot of people don't realize that Tareq, I believe you won the ESPY award for courage. Is that what?
A project of ours did.
Yeah,
a
a project
that
of
was
yours.
involved in. Yeah.
And Tareq went to in 2004. He went to Afghanistan and essentially started the women's
Let
national.
me tell my own story.
Okay.
Because he's going to make it up.
He's gonna make it up.
He's
I'm
going to
gonna
be like
ruin it.
Tareq
He
and
already-
Caitlyn
he-
Jenner
I'm
went
gonna
to
ruin it.
Iraq.
Yep. They went
they-
to Iraq.
Caitlin's the main one.
Anyone
He
who
helped-
wants
he
sex
helped.
changes, he did it, man.
And
he
they
paid
are
for
dating
it.
now, and we are proud.
And Caitlin's
boyfriend.
Now they
pregnant.
both have ESPYs.
She's pregnant because
She's
his sperm
pregnant,
is so strong.
So strong.
It
Afghan
cut right
sperm.
through the chromosome.
Share the voyage.
Caitlin
here.
Azim.
Caitlin
Azim.
Azim.
Yeah, so I think the whole thing started obviously very, very young. My family obviously came to America as refugees during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. And coming to the States, it's very difficult to be an Afghan refugee and have the American dream. And it's not necessarily because it's not available to you, but again, it goes back to what I alluded to a few minutes ago, that level of self-belief and community belief just isn't around or wasn't around in our community back then. So a lot of dreams and goals I had, a lot of our community would be like, oh, you fucking white boy, you whitewash like all his white friends, and look how he's, come here, do this, come here, do that, roll with the empire, roll with this and roll with that. And I just saw a different level of self-satisfaction doing things that a lot of normal people in my community weren't doing, right? Starting to develop that whole, don't have normal people goals and dreams, therefore you got to start doing what normal people do in your community. And being able to do things that people in my community weren't doing, like play American football.
You played D1 ball.
I did. I played at
Fresno State. Bulldogs.
Yeah, which was really cool.
Are you the first Afghanistan guy to play Division I football?
Afghani.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the word
can't
on the
think of any
street.
others.
That means back 2000 and 2004,
I mean, Osama bin Laden was dropping bombs.
But
No,
he's
I'm
not.
just
He's
kidding.
not.
I know.
He's
I'm
not
just kidding.
Afghani. He's
I'm
Arabic.
just
Kind
kidding.
of, kind of.
God, you know what I'm saying. I'm just kidding, man.
You took it too
Carry on.
far.
Yeah, too
You
much.
took it too
Too
far.
much.
You took
Too
it
much.
too far.
Too
Yeah,
much.
not friends
Damn it.
Carry on.
There it goes. Damn it.
Sorry, man.
There
All right,
goes the
carry on.
podcast.
Carry on.
Podcast.
Carry on.
Cut.
Just pause.
Yeah, so that whole situation really of just self-belief is something I really admired, of like, man, if the rest of the world felt like me, I believe there'd be world peace. And I really have that level of conviction to just feeling, real convicted to anything you even think about. And, being able to do it through sports kind of became my thing of how I display my message and how I relate my message and how I share my game, my philosophy. And obviously with all the instabilities going on in a nation like Afghanistan my whole life, and knowing the family that I come from, and being blessed by having this legacy to chase and live up to your whole life, you feel like you owe it, you owe it, you owe service to it, right? Like a lot of times you talk about I got to pay my rent to God for being in this world.
Because your grandfather, your family, they were very famous military generals. And
From
things
one
like
side, yeah. My mother's side, my great grandfather actually had a very big hand in instilling the monarchy, the most previous monarchy that we had. And my grandfather, General Wally, was the first commanding jet fighter in the history of Afghanistan with a true education.
Wow.
Who had been educated with the MiG-21s and created Bagram Air Force Base.
Wow.
Dang.
Been there.
And he was actually a huge
Yep.
he was a huge target to the Communist Party because of how strong he was in regards to not really giving a fuck about these threats, and they'd give him some sort of threats, and my grandfather would threaten back like, okay, go ahead, you go ahead.
It's important for you, just you guys who are listening, that in 1979 when the Soviets invaded, the Afghanis immediately, Afghanistan's actually been a country that's never been conquered. They always say that the Afghanis will let you in, but you'll never conquer them. And they'll wait, and the only thing that unifies Afghanis, because it's so many different tribes, I'm sorry to give a quick lesson because it's important, but you have Tajiks, you have Hazara, you have Pashtun, which is what you are, and they have always been a series of tribes that have fought against each other, and the only thing that brings them together, they've always said, is when an enemy, like the British or the Soviets, come in to invade. Then they get together, and they're formidable. And essentially, that's just an important thing to know. It was always considered the soldier's graveyard, because anybody that ever came into Afghanistan got this shit kicked
even
out of
Alexander
them.
the Great had to marry to conquer it.
Yeah, and when the Soviets came in, there was an element of the Afghani government that allied themselves with the Soviets. Those people were pretty much They weren't treated very well when the Soviets actually left. It
Right.
got pretty bad. But
So, T, having that background, you feel like you have to carry on this kind of leadership tradition?
I just felt like that there were things a lot bigger than myself.
Yeah.
You know, and that story and that legacy was something. I mean, imagine like being an Afghan American, and then being able to go through the routes of different sports, and then out of all routes in the world, you end up at a Division I program like Fresno State, which back then was ranked top 10 in the nation.
Was David Carr your quarterback?
David Carr was a quarterback. Pat Hill was a head coach, and it was like one of those schools that were looked at of true grit football players. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so close to the National Football League. If I made it here, there's no.
That was the goal?
That was
NFL?
the goal. Well, that was the goal for a reason, right? And the reason was obviously I just wanted to make it. And obviously now reflecting, I understood why I chose the path of like, look, don't pursue this. Don't pursue this and go fulfill your obligation to your family legacy. It was like I was really kind of torn between go after a goal or go after a legacy goal. And the legacy goal was like, look, you've developed something. I truly believe that a lot of my nation was lacking, and it was, a lot of it was based on the lack of education.
And there's also restraints on you guys, right? There's ceilings on you guys.
Right, which comes into play. But what do you do to break through? It's just like fighting, and this is why I think martial arts plays such an important role in this entire initiative I've been able to live, is that it just teaches you that look, if something doesn't work, step back, view the situation from a different angle, and get the knockout that way.
Unless you're Paul Harris and poke him in the eye.
Right?
Poke him in the eye.
Right, but then look at the
If it doesn't work, poke him in the eye.
Right, and now he's caused career suicide.
Boom. But surprisingly, you still made it to the NFL.
Yeah.
Not as a player,
Right.
but you went a different route.
Right, and everything started in Afghanistan. It all began in Afghanistan, where I decided to move there in 2004, the day after I graduated. And
which was such a dangerous time to move.
It was.
I mean, we had invaded, I think, in 2003. 2004 was when you were reading about just suicide bombings, and it was the worst, craziest time to go.
Yeah.
And you went.
He tried getting me to go with him one time. I'm like, yeah, sorry. I'm
Too white,
I'm
brother.
not quite as fearless
Too
as
white.
you. I'm gonna.
You're kidnapping
I'm
me
a
right
little
there.
too white. Exactly what I told him.
Because that's what they were doing, right? They're kidnapping like
100%.
Daniel Pearl, right?
Yeah,
That's
no,
named
that
Daniel
was by I believe a Pakistani militant. But yes, I mean there
It was
was a
dangerous
lot
for
of that.
white Americans.
Yes.
At the point I'm
Yes.
getting to, right? Like journalists were screwed.
When I went there to do stand up,
but
you were behind
journalists
the
weren't
wire.
screwed because of the Afghan people. Journalists.
Oh, I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm
I know
just
you're
saying
not
it's dangerous at the
Right,
time,
but
that area.
Well, I'm happy you brought that up, and I'm happy Jake said what he said, because we all have to understand that Afghanistan is no different than the octagon. The whole world comes and fights their wars there.
Yeah.
They utilize Afghanistan to fight because it is a country that's very, very dependent on aid, right? So you've got different countries fighting their wars in Afghanistan. They're coming in there funding different groups, different leaders. One group, belongs to the Turkish. One group belongs to the Iranians. One group belongs to the Pakistanis. One group belongs to the Indians or from India.
Everybody wants to. It has an interest in keeping Afghanistan destabilized.
And they always have, right?
Yeah.
It's essentially landlocked between every nuclear power in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And it's truly where the East meets the West. That's the gateways there. So anyone who controls that area or has a heavy influence in that area has a very, very strong control on a majority of the true world.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go there in 2004 with the idea to do what besides trying not to die?
I actually went there for a very personal situation with my family and my father and family land, etc. And I went there very aggressive, very violent, very confident, as if I'm unbreakable.
Emotional.
Very emotional.
Yes.
Brandon, I walked off the plane, and I looked at this environment, and I was disgusted with myself that I came there with the intentions that I initially come there with.
Which was to settle scores.
Settle scores, with people who were threatening the love of my life, which is my father, And me being his oldest son, I just felt, again, we were raised very, very culturally sensitive and proud within the house,
And people were threatening your father, and you as the eldest son came to
stand next to him,
Yeah.
and to remind them that, look, yeah, my dad may be a quiet guy. My dad may have been a peaceful dude. My dad may have been someone that you can easily manipulate because he doesn't believe in bad, but he was busy raising a lion like me, and I wanted to show him that. And when I went there, I earned that respect immediately because I decided a different route. I didn't want to have a bloodbath and be an uneducated idiot like a lot of people over there, unfortunately. I wanted to create alternatives. So when I got there, the situation alone humbled me. It humbled me so bad, that's what I live by today.
It was a reality check for you.
100%. Imagine being able to be a young Afghan kid and do some of the things I was able to do by be able to train with some of the best fighting coaches in the world by the time I was 18, 19 years old, play Division I football, be raised in the Bay Area, have all these friends. Completely different hype internally. When I went there, I had gotten slammed so hard into the ground that made me realize, holy shit.
Were you slammed in the ground because did you go to Kabul?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you have to fly into Kabul.
Yes, because driving through Kabul, which I've done, and I did in 2000, I think 10.
Doing
maybe.
comedy?
Yeah. I have to say that, and I grew up all over the world, and I grew up in a lot of the developing world. I saw a lot of poverty. I've been to Yemen. I've been to every place you can imagine. I lived in Pakistan. I've been. I've never seen. If you turned it into a movie set, it would look like Mad Max.
Really?
Yeah. That is a
100%.
place where Afghanistan had suffered 30 years of war at this point, and they've just been so destroyed. The Soviets cut all the trees down. They poisoned all the water. I mean, they destroyed that country. And so what you see is the remnants and what's left from the ash.
Right. So you got off the plane very emotional, upset, with one goal in mind, and as soon as you touched down, things changed. Once you saw how the situation,
state, right.
the current
You
state
were
of that
humbled by
situation.
just what, like the poverty and the insanity.
Right, and just looking around,
And you don't want to add to it.
obviously exactly, Brendan. I didn't want to add to it. I didn't want to be a guy who has an education, who's been around wonderful people his whole life, like being in a society where people actually have basic etiquette of just saying hello, thank you.
Yeah.
Not everyone's trying to kill you. These little things matter, you know. There's no electricity, no running water, like, you know. And you're just like, you can't come to a nation like this and add more to that. Like, you'd be no different than the savages that have been raised in these generations with absolutely no education. And I was thinking, how can I make myself valuable to the community here? And that's where the whole entire purpose, you know, and mission began, where I really wanted to reconcile, you know, a lot of problems through physical activity and through sports. And I started this little neighborhood soccer program almost immediately when I got there, because a lot of people knew that, you know, my father's son was coming in, and they all said, oh, he's a football player, and they threw a soccer ball at me. I was like, no, you idiot, not this kind of football, like American football.
But soccer's all they know.
Right, but I grew up playing soccer,
Yeah.
so it was no problem to kind of adapt to that. And long story short, the little program turned into a pretty consistent thing. And I'd be like, hey, let's go across the park and play in this place called Parc Chardonnay, which means like the park of the new city. And the kids are, oh, we can't go over there. I said, why is that? They go, oh, the kids from, you know, Block 13, for example, are over there. I'm like, well, what's the point of the kids playing soccer? And this is where everything hit, the reality that the world just doesn't see. A lot of these deficiencies you see in these nations, from suicide bombings to trafficking to like particular intelligence reports to different agencies around the world, all come through these kids. Between the age of 12 and 17, this is the problem in that nation. The misguidance of these kids, the direction these kids are getting forced in because they're so desperate for a dollar.
And
They're so desperate
easily
for attention.
influenced.
So
Yeah.
they'll put a gun in your hand and say, shoot at that car as it comes by.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
they
they
have
raped
nothing to lose.
they raped your mom and dad, and they, you know, they killed your family. It was them, and these kids don't know any better, and they just get these particular pictures put in their face, which is like a picture of us, you know, and we're looked at like terrorists. And these kids have no access to true media or true intelligence, and a lot of them can't even read; they're illiterate, you know. These kids don't know any better, and just get manipulated in that light. So I was like, well, what can I do to bring these kids together? Well, I started the same exact type of program a block away, where Tuesdays and Thursdays I'd spend with one batch, and then Mondays and Wednesdays with a different batch, and eventually I got these two groups to play against one another who were rivals. And the losers had to take the winners out to ice cream. And obviously I'd pay for it. It's like $2 for like 20 kids in Afghanistan.
Didn't you have to kind of talk to the shot callers, though?
Later.
Okay.
Later. And I just wanted to do this program to see how it would work. I was really convinced that there was one thing missing when it comes to true instability, and it's called communication. And if I can put these kids together to communicate, then I think everything would be okay.
Did you feel a sense of danger while doing
Oh,
this?
big time. Because again, you just don't understand what's okay what's normal for them and what's not normal for them. Like for us in America,
Because you're this
you've
hot
got
shot
you've
guy.
Got, you've got the fear of like authority here, right? Growing
Yeah.
up as a kid, you're like, I'm not going to jail, I'm not going to juvie. But out there's no authority, and there's no government, and there's no
Yeah,
enforcement.
the wrong warlord, whoever's running the area,
Right?
might
So
not
you
like
don't know
for
what
some
these
reason, they
kids are
wanna kill
gonna
you.
like, what their intentions these kids are. But you know, when Bryan, you would know this living on that side of the world. Like when you live in that environment, you really become a big believer of destiny. You know, whatever it is gonna happen. It's gonna
Inshallah.
happen.
Inshallah.
Exactly. I'm not going to sit there and you know.
It's God's
change my
God's
game
will.
or
They
my
always say that.
intentions or my communication with people because of fear of the unknown, right? I'm going to accept the unknown as much as I possibly can, right? And that's what happened. And this program worked, man. These kids ended up becoming like super homies and really understand, like, oh my God, we've got the same dream, we have the same goal. Well, what if we got stronger? And this thing started to spread, and you know, the entire nation was behind a ton of different programs just like this happening. And then like a women's program was inspired, and I was a little involved in that little program. And then when I saw that the states recognized that and the ESPYs were presented to this group, two of the girls from that soccer program came up and they spoke on behalf of Afghanistan. And I wasn't too hyped up on it because the way the ESPY award was given was a little bit of a like a little stunt.
What do you mean?
Like it wasn't
SB being a stunt.
It was a
That sounds
publicity stunt?
100%.
Well, yeah, the Caitlyn Jenner thing. I don't know if
You
people
know?
know this. That was a whole publicity
Yeah,
thing.
it was already. It was kind of one of the conditions of giving
in the
the interview,
contract.
right?
Yes.
Ridiculous.
It's amazing.
Right,
to me.
and you know, the thing that really pissed me off with that situation was I've held my mouth, quiet about it for the longest time. But like, the older you get, and the more you're involved in media and professional sports and stuff nowadays, it was just mind blowing to me to see that such a country in need of true help, and so open to any sort of education you want to give them, are just being manipulated for a good 20-minute, 30-minute story. And like, all right, good.
It's a good story, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
People will help
Bit of
you.
a story
People will
basically
help you
then
off of the
bounce out.
story type shit, and then everybody who's involved in that thing dispersed.
Nothing gets done.
They put their 2 weeks in and whatever, and it's like, all right.
You
whatever.
did nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
the cool thing about that was that I saw the reaction to people who cared,
They're pissed.
But I also saw the reaction of people who cared here. Like
Human
I saw
stories.
LeBron and D Wade and Ashley Judd had presented the award that night. Lance Armstrong was the host. Terry Crews, a comedian, really funny guy,
He's
super
great.
sweetheart man.
He's great.
Like, he was one of the most going out of his way at the after party. Like, hey, is there anything I can do? And a ton of different people. And more hit me like, if this is what you guys think is going to be a mover and shaker, I've got something else in my head. And the thing was, I could never call you and go, hey, Brendan, move to Afghanistan. Trust me, it's a golden opportunity. It really is a golden opportunity for business out there.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It's a wild,
Not
wild west.
going.
And I couldn't get you to go, right? Like, hell no. And
Not
the
even
first thing
now.
everybody would always say, oh, women are oppressed. And the Taliban are in control. And yeah, some of that stuff is going on, but it's only going on in particular areas where people just don't have any education.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck that. Right now's the time. And I want to do something that even people in Afghanistan were telling me, like, yo, you need to take your American ways and get the fuck out of here. Because I said I wanted to create the Afghan Women's Boxing Federation.
Do they call you a sandcracker?
all types?
You wanted to
all
create
types
the
of things.
the Afghan Women's Boxing Federation.
Yeah.
Think about
How
that.
crazy is that?
Yeah.
Well,
Think
right.
about that. And I want to say something before you get into that, because I think a great deal of hesitation in helping Afghanistan, or people kind of see that and they move on with their lives, is that, and I suffer from this, and I follow it fairly closely. It's such an overwhelming problem to us. We always feel like one of the things that bothers me about the world is there's a lot of suffering in the world. Afghanistan, a classic example, which I actually saw some of myself. And you just feel so overwhelmed by what seems to be an insurmountable problem.
Well, you don't even
And-
know where to start, right?
Right. And I think that's what I appreciate so much about your example, because you said, nah, you know what, 2004, God knows what's going to happen. I still have faith that I can make a difference.
And the intention of that entire program was very simple. I didn't want to create any world champions. Jake was heavily involved with me in that whole process of like, bro, here's what I want to do, and whatever. And he was able to help me convince Fairtex, who was mainly his sponsor, and I was just there trying to build a name with them at that time to give over all this equipment, to be able to show like, look, this is a real thing I want to do. And they asked me why, and I said, look, it has nothing to do with me trying to create an Olympic program or any world champions or any fighters. The intention behind this program is to use a non-political route, right? A non-political agenda to prove to the world through this very, very simple act of physical activity and sportsmanship that a country is ready for social change. So I wanted to present the most male-dominated activity known to mankind, which is fighting,
Yeah.
in the most male-dominated society currently at that time,
Yeah.
Afghanistan, and show women boxing.
Brilliant.
How else are you going to define this country, right?
Tareq Azim, ladies and gentlemen.
So, thank you. And that was it. And when I saw that the intention worked in Afghanistan after I did that and it was successful, and I was able to convince some people who were supposed to be particular barriers to come help, be supportive of the program, I started to make announcements about it all over the world, coming back, doing speaking engagements, hosting galas, etc., to kind of share the story. And I wasn't fundraising. I wasn't trying to raise money, but I was just sharing, like,
Awareness.
here's the reality of what's
Yes.
going on. And we had this big one at Ruby Sky in San Francisco that our dear friends Reggie and Big T had let us utilize this place as our home charity. And I made the announcement of this exact story I kind of shared with you on why I did that. And it was just really to raise light, like, you guys, a lot of this shit you're hearing is complete bullshit. We had sparring because we were training for, I forget what fight it was, and Jake and I had decided, like, look, we're going to 3-minute rounds, like 12 rounds, et cetera. We're like, on round number 3, who walks in?
For sure, remember.
Which one?
When we were at practice, what types of people walked
Oh,
in
the
and tried to pull
FBI
me out
and
of the
CIA when they came in?
Who?
The agency, the government?
The FBI and the CIA.
Or one of the two. Was FBI or CIA?
Walked
Probably
into
CIA.
Fairtex and told me that I need to get out the ring and we need to talk. And Jake and I are like, yeah, whatever. They could wait. I'm not done
we'll
sparring
finish our
yet.
rounds.
Do you think they were gonna kill you?
No, but the thing was that they
Was this enough? This was in
San
San
Francisco.
Francisco. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
It's
after I
kinda weird,
got
just
back and I
rolling our
launched a
sparring.
program. We made noise. Like, I wanted to share the story. And the story wasn't necessarily, it wasn't anything bad. I wasn't supporting anybody or anything. But, the people who were supposed to kill me and behead me were like these warlords and then the Taliban. And Afghanistan is the size of Texas, right? And it's not very hard to find anyone you need to communicate with, right? And I did that.
Because you knew that there were people out there that would kill you, maybe, if you didn't speak to them.
You had to have
They
that.
felt disrespected, probably, right?
Right. They felt disrespected, and you're kind of overcoming, overstepping your boundaries. And
So you went and found.
I found Malik Zarin, who is one of the strongest tribal leaders of the Kunar area. Kunar is there's some movies like Restrepo.
Yeah, it's a rough area.
And Korangal that have come out. That's where my family is from.
Yeah.
That's where my father was born, and my grandfather was Schaub, the king of that area, from my father's side. And I went and shared with them what I wanted to do, and it's exactly what I just told you. And thinking you're gonna get beheaded or fucked, it was more like, wow, you're the angel who's gonna save this country. I was like,
That's what you got from
You got support from
super
these guys.
support, and same thing with the next group, and same thing with the
So
next
that's-
So
group.
I
you went and
thought something
talked.
was
You
up.
went and spoke to all the warlords, essentially.
2 warlords and then the Taliban official.
Wow.
Mohammed Mutawakkil.
And isn't there like a rule?
Wow.
Like there's a rule unspoken where they can't kill you if you're in their house, right?
It's a
Or some
Pashtun
shit?
code.
Pashtuwali, it's called. Right?
Even if it's your enemy, they'll come to your house, they'll feed you, and they'll walk you out, but then they'll get you somewhere else.
Another time.
Yeah, because they take hospitality so seriously. That's why they wouldn't give up Osama bin Laden, because the Arabs were their guests at that point, and people who really knew the culture said, "Man, you can't threaten
can't
them.
do that,
You
yeah.
can't threaten them. You
Against
can't
code.
threaten Afghanis. They're not going to fucking respond that way. They're
insane.
warlike people. You have to kind of be like, hey, if there's any way you can
Right.
give them
Different
all.
And this is where I
approach,
got heartbroken a little bit too, is on the fact that like you got like these guys is not necessarily their support, like they're going to fund you or going to be assistant coaches with you with this program, but more along the lines like, look, you got our blessings. Like,
Yeah, they're not
we
gonna
won't fuck
stand
with
in
you.
your
Yeah,
way,
We're not
yeah.
gonna mess with you, and then if you have any problems, we'll support you.
So what did the FBI and CIA say?
They were just asking me on why I was talking to exactly what I'd presented. Like why did you talk to this former Taliban official, who's actually one of the first prisoners, I think of
In Guantanamo. or
I
something.
think so. Yeah, Mohammed Mutawakkil, who's a former.
I remember
foreign
the name.
minister and chief spokesperson for the regime. And the cool thing about it is I have it all on, we recorded this because they wanted to make a film about this story, is they put his hand on my hand in this film. And that one I was a little worried about talking to him,
Yeah.
just because the place was
I'd be a little bit worried.
Right.
Yeah, they're not
I was a
they're not a
little-
terribly
not too
moderate
bad,
group.
but I had
Yeah.
a little bit of
I was a
anxiety
little
that
worried.
day.
Yeah.
But seeing him, like
Yeah.
it was, 20 minutes outside of Kabul in an area called Khushalmina, right? And it's like outside of Kabul, like in this little desert, and there's this hut. But then he has all this like, because they brought him back into Afghanistan to help advise with the government. They had a lot of house arrest on him, but they're totally fucking with him. Like putting people in from the Northern Alliance as a security, and he's a Taliban, and really, it's just dirty. But at the end of the day, he thought what I wanted to bring into Afghanistan, which I thought that he'd be like, just cut that shit out and get out of here, was more like this is the most symbolic movement I've heard of as my time as an Afghan.
So you had a ton of support.
Well, for myself, when it comes to like, you would think these people would be, against you. They're like, no, we're with
of
you.
course,
Because
yeah.
what did I do? I did something that a lot of people don't do with these opposition groups. Just communicate,
Yeah.
right? Because you have to. We always forget that they're humans too. And
Did you speak Dari to them or?
Dari and Pashto, yeah.
Wow.
And in my Pashto at that time was not that great to their level, but the cool thing they respected is that I'm a young dude. I could have been a successful athlete here in America. I didn't have to leave the beaches and the clubs and do all the things that you do as a young guy here, and I chose to be there.
Yeah.
They respect that.
And,
I think they're human, dude.
the CIA was more concerned with whether or not you had terrorist ties.
Yes.
I don't know what they wanted, but my point to them was very simple. Is I've been blessed by having relations within the government as well, who were a little higher up than them, that were like, you know what, like, you stop fucking with this kid. He's got really good intentions, and he's not that type of guy. But the one message I gave to them was like, guys, you're all the way in San Francisco. Your best agents in the world and analysts of the world are in Afghanistan, and they can't cure this problem. What the fuck are you going to do out here?
Yeah, that's a
Leave
really
me-
good
leave me
question.
alone. You know what I mean? Leave me alone. I'm like, go click your hours elsewhere. Leave us the fuck alone. We're on a mission.
So
here.
then, risking all this, and obviously it's gone well, how did this kind of whole movement of you attracting these world-class athletes, like all these high-level guys are looking at you for advice, career advice, leadership, and that just all stems from this? Because a lot of these guys don't know that story, correct? So how's that come to play?
Well, I think one of the most important components of that as an athlete and as a coach has been Jake. You know, it's been really, really the teammate that I have here and the things we've been able to do together. And people are like, damn, it's a pretty badass synergy if these guys are ride or die for each other all the time, no matter what the situation may be.
And I think you're just honest with a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys have a bunch of people just always kissing their ass. You know, they're big stars. Guys like Marshawn and Alden. Guys always kissing their ass, and you're real with them. You're not going to, like, tell them a bunch of bullshit. You're going to tell them the truth.
I guess that's it.
How's Alden Smith and a guy like Marshawn Lynch even walk into Empowers and get connected to you?
Well, obviously, the individuals that have very similar philosophical crossovers will kind of be their mentors. For like Marshawn Lynch, for example, was Tom Cable, the assistant head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, phenomenal head coach for
the Raiders for a while,
who obviously is one of the masterminds in National Football League and why that organization is so tight. He had asked, he said, hey, T, I've got someone who really needs our philosophy, and it's a project for you, but would you be willing to take it on? You know, I said, Coach, anything you say, I'll do in a heartbeat. And he said, who is it? He says, this young gentleman named Marshawn Lynch. And I said, yeah.
Best running back in the league.
Yeah.
Very
He's
familiar with Marshawn.
I had no idea. I was working out, and I had no idea who he was.
Jake knows
and
no football players.
And then I post a picture of him, and I was like, how do you know Marshawn? I'm just like,
oh, he's my best friend, bro.
We're best friends now.
We share Skittles.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So that was the introduction that was made, and Marshawn came in, and I think I was doing something again a little different. Was I just sat back and listened?
Well, what was his issue?
His issue, he
For
has no
people
issue.
that don't know.
Oh, it's the fact that individuals don't understand that not everybody articulates to your expectations what their goals are. You know, he's got different goals. He's got different intentions. Football is not all this guy has. Football is this big to him compared to what he wants to do. With
He's
the
a
impact
glacier,
on
and just that tip is sticking out.
And it's just the fact that like not being able to have a teammate or someone right around that can help, you know, understand the big mission and the purpose, right? And obviously seeing that synergy and that collaboration, it attracted a ton of other people to be like, damn.
Well, then how did Alden Smith come into play? Because Alden Smith is a guy who
Gem.
some would say amazing
An
person,
absolute gem,
an absolute
you
gem. He would basically kind of be somewhat. You could compare him to John Jones a little bit. You're talking about an absolute freak of nature, one of the very best defensive players in the league, and he's had his hiccups down the road.
Absolutely.
Currently, he's not on a team. Gets released from the 49ers for, you know, in the media. I don't know the exact details, but in the media for, you know, DUI, hit and run, whatever, right?
Sure.
Very John Jones-esque.
Right.
And then the 49ers, without any facts or anything,
Or due process.
releases the guy.
Right.
And he's literally one of the best players in the league, but he's had his hiccups before, right?
Sure.
So then you come into play how with Alden Smith? This is what's confusing to me.
No problem at all. Alden Smith and I have obviously been riding together for a while now, and the problems he had that was suspended for last season, he had never had a problem once you come around. He started to recognize what was going wrong.
So he came to you before
after his last.
He had the
issue.
he had the alcohol, DUI,
he had
all
some
that
issue a while
shenanigans.
back, and then we
The gun at the
connected.
airport.
Yeah, no gun at the airport. He made a comment at the airport at TSA.
Oh, really?
He's one of those guys that he's very easy to poke at, right? He's very easy to poke at and kind of get your ego kick on. And a lot of people do that to him. I've witnessed it myself, and I'm not one to be the one, this is conspiracy and all this shit against him. But I see people poke at him.
He's so big and
know?
so beautiful
And
that
so
I think,
nice.
and so nice that men feel less than around him. Like,
They
you know,
really
they're
do,
like,
man. Like,
I gotta
poke at
get
him.
mine
Which
on
is
this guy.
weird.
It's all travel. You
Which
know
is
what
weird.
the TSA's turned into, you
Oh,
know?
TSA's a
TSA 's a
fucking
bunch of
joke.
agency right there.
Hey,
bunch
a lot of
people-
those guys listen to our podcast though, and I like them. They're always like, "Hey, I
yeah.
love your podcast." I'm like, "Yeah." They're fight fans too, right? You get
Oh, yeah, no,
recognized.
TSA is actually really nice to me, but
Yeah.
overall the organization's not.
Yeah, no, they're great
the best.
people. They fucking suck. They don't catch
it's not- it's
anyone.
not
What
the
are we
people,
talking
it's just
about?
the- yeah, just
it's the worst
organization.
thing with the airport. Anyways,
So whatever, he made some comment about, they made some stupid comment to him like, hey, do you have a bomb? Like, yeah, I have a bomb on me. Like, what the fuck? would
Oh,
you
like
ask a
being
question like that?
sarcastic.
You know, and that's what that case came about. But, whatever, he's been around, and I had the opportunity to be around him every single day, all right? We talk a lot.
he's always
we
in
work
there.
a lot. He's got a work ethic of not many, and obviously, like you don't have a work ethic, we're not going to be able to work together. But it's not necessarily that, the kid has problems, he's just misunderstood. And some of the problems he does have, he owns up to them.
well, you'll acknowledge he does have problems. Let's be real here.
100%. 100%.
Something's going on.
100% something is going on, right? But the beautiful thing is the kid's open to learning about this problem. And a lot of times, any advisor I think this kid's had in his life hasn't been like, let's find the problem. It's more, what can we do next? Let's just keep bearing that shit up real quick. What can we do next?
Because he's such a moneymaker.
What can we do next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how they'll shut him up. You know, it's like, okay, we'll go ahead and suspend you. Yeah, but what about the problem? Hey,
Yeah,
we'll go
they're
ahead and
not
fine you.
fixing
Well,
anything.
what about the problem?
They always say punishment.
Putting
punishment.
Band-Aids over it.
Yeah,
the
punishment
holes
will
in the
suppress
tires.
behavior. It doesn't change
Right.
behavior.
And another thing too, you guys all know this as leaders in what you guys do and mentors and what you guys do. And I'm far from a leader or far from a mentor. It's something I aspire to be one day.
Disagree.
Yeah, we disagree.
Is this, dude, is if we see a fire and we don't do anything about it, that shit's gonna spread.
For sure.
Right? But if we see a fire and we control it and we support it, it'll turn into a light. And I believe this kid's a light. I believe he's
Fuck
going to
yeah,
do
he's a
something
light.
really fucking special for the world, especially since he's making a very strong conscious effort. And he has been making a very strong conscious effort.
So right now, for people that don't know football, Alden Smith was cut from the 49ers. As of now, he's unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of being his leader, right? Like his
Coach.
his teammate, coach, teammate. What's the game plan?
Well, the game plan is as you see with my social media, he's been in training nonstop.
Yeah, he's
every
training
single day,
nonstop every
you know?
day.
He's been working
Because he's
on-
missing the preseason,
He's been
correct?
doing some really great things for self-development, with the spirituality and different types of support.
Where's
that he's
his
working
mental
on.
state at?
At a real great place, because if you ask him, hey, Alden, the reality is, did you fuck up? He said, I would be so mad at myself if I fucked up, but I'm not mad at myself. I said, I didn't fuck up. I didn't fuck up, and here's why. And that's obviously a private, I'll be very vague with that because he's not here to kind of
For
support
sure,
it
yeah.
himself. But the reality is he's in a good place because he knows what happened was not in his control.
That makes sense.
And whatever happened will obviously come to light, and things are backfiring left and right, and he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's in a really good place. He's in a really good place. And the cool thing about being in a good place, I think what's making him feel so good is that he's actually trying to figure out what the root of this deficiency is that's causing him to,
You know what's going through my head?
Maybe you can help me.
You know what's going through my head as you're saying all this? I wish you could get a hold of a guy like John Jones.
Yeah. John Jones would be awesome to work with and just talk to. I don't know.
He's such a talented guy. I mean, it's cool. And I don't know him that well, but hung out with him. I always liked John.
He'd be someone.
It sucks to see him just mess up over and over when he's like one of the most talented guys ever.
If
in
not
the
the
sport.
most talented guy ever.
just
You're talking about pure
Yeah,
greatness.
I'm telling you,
Same with Alden Smith. When we were at Callen's stand-up and Alden Smith was there and I saw him laughing, we were in the back room. Dude, I felt like...
Well, you asked me, I just want to hug him, man.
Dude, I could just tell. He was just like, he's battling something going on inside. I could just see it. Right. I just want to be like, dude, how can we fix this, man? Right. I want to be like, let's get out of here. Let's do whatever you want to do right now.
Most of the people that I've admired in my life, and certainly people that have done great things, had to go through some kind of battle. They had to come up against themselves. And a lot of times it can be addiction, it can be whatever it might be. But, I don't think that really interesting people, I don't think people that are significant, that actually contribute to the world in some original way, ever had it that easy.
Had a cakewalk.
They didn't. Right. There's you've gotta kind of, it's like the story of Jacob's ladder where Jacob wrestled with the angel all night. You gotta wrestle with that angel or that demon. You have to have that fight, and you gotta just keep showing up until you come out the other side.
Yeah, greatness doesn't come from a silver spoon or from Malibu.
Yeah.
Guys, keep this. Like,
It's
for
easy.
example,
Why
ask
work
yourselves
hard?
this question, right? What if you were someone that you knew you had so much to offer and you had this humongous conviction in your self-belief, and people consistently told you how to be and how to live?
Yeah,
Never allowing you to
We
do
all want
you.
our own autonomy. We all want our own sovereignty. I mean, that's so human. They always say that when political philosophers always say everybody wants some say in who governs them. Right. Everybody wants to be able to have some say. But more importantly, even children, the minute you grab a spoon and say, give me that spoon, that child's going to hold that spoon tighter.
Right.
And as a coach and as a motivator, and I think Jake's kind of the same way. I was there when Jake gave you your black belt, which was really cool.
Right.
But to be a leader, I think, is to understand how to ride that line of balance.
Sure.
To be motivating, but not a tyrant and not dominating. Some people do. Some people are tyrants. Right. Some coaches are. But I think to really make an impact, you've got to work with people and their sobriety.
I mean, everyone's different.
You've had your ups and downs, Jake. I mean, I remember you, because we had the same manager, when you fought Jake Ellenberger and your father just passed away.
Yeah, that was tough. My dad had died like 2 weeks before. And
Yeah,
it was,
man.
When I was looking
was
back,
fighting the best option?
Looking back, I
or?
definitely should have pulled out. But since I was
sure.
a mess at the time, I didn't know what to do. I lost my dad. The fight was scheduled. I felt like it was a way to kind of
take your mind off of it?
Yeah, it was a way to keep my mind off. But I felt like my body was kind of shutting down at that point. Like my back started going out. I think just the stress.
Yeah.
So, I mean, looking back, I would definitely pull out. But at the time, you're just such a mess. You don't know what to do.
Well, your
And
dad
you
was
almost,
heavily
like,
involved in your career.
Yeah, my dad was so
He
involved
was
in
your
my
manager.
fight
He
career.
was your
was he?
everything. Oh my
Damn.
God.
Yeah, no, he was my manager. I talked to him every day about fighting.
I didn't know that.
He helped set up my training with like Tareq. He
Everything.
did everything. Like,
And what did he
yeah.
pass away from?
He had like a heart condition. We did an
Yeah.
autopsy. Figured no reason his age, but I think something with his heart.
How old was he, Jake?
67.
Because a lot of people don't
Yeah.
know that you grew up vegan your entire life, right?
Yeah, vegetarian. Which is
Vegetarian.
something, yeah, so you're
Yeah.
vegetarian.
Yeah.
So it was.
You communist too, or?
No, not.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, but I don't know.
Capitalist.
I'm not very
You know,
comfortable.
T wouldn't let me be a communist after what those Russians did.
No way, man. There's no way.
Exactly. Me and Jake are libertarians, man.
Exactly.
Because in
I'm
your
a libertarian vegetarian.
You go, brother. Libertarian, vegetarian.
Because your career, you've had obviously way more ups than downs. Way
Yeah,
more.
exactly.
You
A
beat
lot
some of
more
the
ups,
legends of the sport, man.
Yeah, there's not very many guys that don't have the downs in this sport, so it's a tough sport we're in.
What do you think? What motivates you, Jake? Now, like, you're not going to fight forever.
What's left?
Nah, yeah, exactly. I probably
Like,
won't
what
fight
is
that.
left for you?
Exactly. I
What-
probably won't fight
what,
that
a
much
World
longer.
Series belt?
Exactly. I'm looking at the point where, I don't think I'll do very many more fights. A couple more fights, I still enjoy it, but it's at this point, like I said, I've done, I've already beaten most of the greats and or a lot of the greats and won like 5 world titles, so I feel like I've pretty much accomplished what I need to
Done
accomplish.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Done
done
pretty
all right.
But you also
I can leave the sport now
Yeah.
and not feel like I'm
Would you have done anything differently in your career?
Well, yeah, of course there's small changes. I wish I'd fight George St. Pierre a little different. I mean, he's an amazing fighter, but that's something I wish I'd have pressed him a little earlier. And of course you're gonna have regrets, but overall I feel good about my career.
Let me tell you something about Jake Shields in Toronto, Canada.
Oh man.
First of all, me and Jake went out in Toronto.
We had some
It
fun
was
there.
like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I was like an A-list
Because
celebrity
he fought
there.
George St. Pierre in the biggest card there
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
And they had all the countdown show, the 24/7, all that. So
Get
they
it.
fucked.
Johnny Depp.
I was
It-
like,
it was
well,
yeah, girls. I'd be talking to one girl, another one would be like, "You should leave her and come home with me." And I'm like,
yeah,
"God,
Jake was like,
Jesus.
why not
dude,
both?"
listen to this. We're getting ready to
Why
go
not
out.
both?
Bro, that's him, bro.
Come on, he's got appetites.
Yeah, you saw me in Toronto. It
Dude,
was- it
we're
was
getting ready to
insane.
go out, and he goes, "Hey, man, I need a wingman." I go, "Huh? For sure, you're gonna be my wingman, amigo." No. Big Brown was playing fucking catch up all night. I was upstairs. He goes, "Hey, I need you to stay here with them. I'm gonna go downstairs and talk to some girls. I'll be right back." Hour later, he comes back. "Hey, man, how's it going?" I'm like, "Hey, man."
This is my assistant, Big Brown.
And I was just a piece of shit with eyes. They're like, "Do you know where Jake went?" I'm like, "I don't."
Hey, assistant boy. Hey, big guy.
Yeah.
Who I don't
Hey,
even
Brandon,
know.
go grab
Yeah,
Drinks,
I don't know how
Brandon.
George
Yeah.
survives in Canada, man. That place is
It's
insane.
insane.
The Canadian
Yeah.
girls
But for whatever reason,
love
I've never
fighting.
seen one like it with
Yeah,
Jake.
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man. And he loves him some Asian. It was just.
I don't discriminate, but
He's
they're,
got
they're all right.
Asian fever. Asian fever. That's my new song for you.
Can't
kid.
believe everything you hear.
It's the Jake Shields song. Asian fever.
A white girl came up. He's like, "Ugh, white people."
Gross.
Blind to white girls.
Yeah,
I'm
gross.
telling you.
That's why my
Some of
friends
the
are
most
minorities.
gorgeous supermodels will walk right by us, and I'm like, "Did you see her?" He's like, "See who?"
No idea.
And this like 4'2" little Asian will walk by, and I don't see her. And he's like, "Did you see her?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Oh." I'm like, "What the fuck is he looking
It's
at?"
just his
we don't
style,
fight.
man.
We don't fight over girls that way.
That's
Yeah,
what makes us a
right?
good team,
Man, I'm
you
such
know?
an equal opportunity employer.
Me too. I don't
I'm attracted to
discriminate.
black chicks, Chinese, Afghan, Asian. I don't give a shit.
Hey, easy on the Afghan talk.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, they don't. They
Easy
won't.
on the
They
Afghans.
will.
I threw that in there.
Easy.
Bro, Afghans are the biggest haters. Like, when
Big is.
I'd be like, bro,
Really?
look at Afghan girls. Never. They'll
Conservative,
Be like, nah, you
conservative.
don't want them. You don't want them.
Well, no, you got to go
They
through their
will not
parents.
hook
They got to
up
get
with
through their
girls. They are
dad.
even Tareq won't do it.
Have you ever hooked up with an Afghanistan girl? Has that ever been like? Have you ever pursued an Afghan girl?
No.
Well, actually, let's jump back. Let's jump back because you were coach to a bunch of Afghan women, teaching them how to fight.
Ooh,
and I mean,
getting thrown
and
on
I
the
got to
bus
be
right
honest
now.
with you.
What happened, T?
Well, I've taken a couple. I've hit mitts with T, and he's a dominant force. he smells like
These are
sweat
hard-hitting
and leather,
questions.
and he's a handsome guy, and he was kind of teaching me and kind of adjusting my hips and smiling. And when I'd hit, he'd encourage me. He'd go like that. And I was
Harder.
like, whoa. So my question to you is, you were clearly getting a lot of hungry eyes from those gals. I mean, a D1 American Afghan coach.
Superstar.
Oh yeah, strong jaw, not as strong as mine. But I mean, you had it going on. What was there any?
Yeah, how was it, T?
fireworks?
You guys are all being racist.
You can't shut down the question like that. You can't just shut
Hey, I'll help you out. Hey, let's go to current events with Evan the Bear.
Wait. Actually, no. I got something I got to bring up.
Well, do it.
I've never listened to a podcast, so I don't know. No offense.
We talk about you.
I hear you guys are great. My friends mention it, but I saw a picture on one of your guys' Instagram. Sugar Shane Mosley sitting here, no shirt, hand wrap. I like Sugar Shane.
Hand wraps.
Just chilling.
Bro,
Yeah.
he came in like that.
I
thought it was a joke too. I was like, was he like doing a
Photo
little
shoot?
thing outside of here or what?
Yeah.
Comes in and goes, I got sparring after this, man. I just like to stay ready. I went, no, I get that, but it's like a 2-hour interview. He goes, yeah, I don't want to rewrap my hands. I went, okay, that's cool.
He could have wrapped his hands and left his shirt
Could have put
on.
a shirt on.
It
For
was
sure
great.
could've put a shirt
If
on.
you're Sugar Shane Mosley,
Put a
I
Sugar
guess you
Shane.
can do
whatever
that.
you want.
I'm not
You
gonna
can
hate
do
the
it.
guy, Sugar Shane.
No,
He's one of my favorite
it
boxers.
made for an
so.
interesting interview.
You can
for
just
sure.
do that. If you're a great boxer, I guess you can just do that, and here we are.
We were like, all
Why-
right,
why
cool,
not?
man.
fine.
Do what you want.
Great
Mayweather
body.
would come in with like diamonds. He
Bro,
would come
how
in with
about
no shirt.
Sugar Shane? I get a text from him yesterday or 2 days ago. Don King's trying to sue him. He had to fly to Miami to sit in court because he's trying to stop the fight from happening. But they went to court. I think he's all good now. The fight's still back on. But check this out. We do the show here with Sugar Shane. Me and Bryan Bryan and I go watch him spar right across the street with Sean Porter. Then I go do my own workout at Box and Burn. I walk into Box and Burn, and his opponent, Mayorga's in there.
Oh shit.
Training.
Oh, this is great.
But
That's
he's
crazy.
crazy, right? Mayorga, whatever, tough guy, former
I
world
think he'll
champ.
Destroy him though.
Destroy him. And this is why. He's going around the room asking regular Box and Burn employees and students if they want to spar. You know, have
Are
sparring
you
partners.
serious?
Yeah. Someone goes, Schaub,
Holy
will you
shit.
give him some rounds? I went,
He's like 145 pounds.
yeah, I'm like, can you fit me in for never? Can you schedule never for that?
Yeah.
And then,
What the
not making this
fuck?
up, so he's hitting mitts out of shape. Meanwhile, I just watched Shane
Would
Mosley
still knock
who's
me out
holding
in a
his
couple
mitts for him?
seconds.
Well, I'd hope so. You're
Yeah.
a comic.
Yeah.
For sure, don't throw yourself in there. See, that's the problem.
Why? I just want to throw it in there.
So-
You should have sparred him.
no, because
You
I'm
should've
literally,
you should go spar him
I
tomorrow.
literally
Set
would
it
have been
up.
tempted to just throw on a headgear and a mouthpiece and say, "Don't take it easy on me, don't beat me up." But you wouldn't let me do that because he would have.
You know what?
I
No,
would've filmed that. I would've
now
filmed
now
that.
I'd let you do it just so you learn.
Why?
Because you won't make comments like that anymore.
Right, because he would.
Because you need to get in there with a real guy.
I would. I know.
Oh, he'll be out of shape,
I just
but
think it'd be
he'll
cool.
hit hard.
I think
still.
it'd be good. I wouldn't let you do it though.
No, because I.
Unless you really want to do it, I'm like, okay, Brian, and
Yeah.
I'd put it on fucking YouTube.
And then he'd catch me in the chin, and I'd go to sleep. And
within 20 seconds.
Do you think you'd fake go to sleep, or do you think you'd really go to
to
sleep?
be honest with you, dude, my feints and the way I stand on the outside,
definitely
He's
with
an
my
outside
with my
striker.
with
You
my
would-
lightning quick
you
jab.
would definitely act.
Yeah,
For sure. But check this out. So he gets done hitting mitts or whatever the hell he's doing. Goes outside, cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes. I hate to put his business out there, but he's just like,
What a hype!
I was like, holy
How great
shit.
is that?
I was like, what a badass.
No sparring partners.
Nothing.
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes. Meanwhile,
Sparring in
Sugar
board shorts?
Shane shredded.
A monk,
Shirtless on a
like living
podcast.
like
Sean
a monk.
Porter, sparring Sean
Always
Porter.
ready.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this guy's fucked.
When is this
man.
fight?
I think in 2 weeks or a week.
something.
We're
like
actually
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
watch
to
this.
it.
Yeah, we're going.
We're going to it.
Staples Center.
No, it's at the
Forum or
forum.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the forum. Should be interesting. Ev, what do you got, buddy? Current events.
Yep, we got a couple today. It's a little short, but we got a
alright.
few.
There should be some
This
good
is a
ones.
bonus podcast.
We got a couple going today. First, the big news for today, at least in the UFC world, is Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm got announced.
Oh
Neither
shit!
got passed over.
Holy smokes, Holly Holmes. 2 fights, both decisions. This is gonna be amazing. UFC 190, UFC 192. Honey dicked you again.
Wait a minute. Are you being sarcastic here?
No,
Who-
listen.
Who else are you gonna give her?
I'm not mad at it. Listen,
Who else
I
are they gonna give
I
her?
get it from the UFC standpoint.
Of
What are you
course-
gonna do? Misha Tate 3?
Yeah, I don't want to.
She's
I
beat her
like
twice.
Misha Tate, but I'm not gonna.
This-
see that
this is
a
my
third
thing
time.
for Holly Holm,
I would
though.
rather watch Holly Holm than Misha Tate a third time.
I agree.
I like Misha Tate.
Holly
but-
Holmes can strike.
She doesn't look great in UFC. I'm a huge Holly Holm fan, but she has a ways to go. I
Yeah,
think
she's-
they should have gave her
she's
2
not
more
ready for it
fights.
yet.
She's just not ready. But all they're doing, and I'm with the UFC. I actually support this fight.
Yeah. What else would you do if you're the?
Well,
what I would do.
what you do get out of this is you're going to get a bunch of marketing and media behind Holly Holmes. So once
undefeated.
Ronda retires, at least we're aware of the rest of the division. All we're doing now is bringing to light these other girls who are just going to get murked in 30 seconds. So when Ronda retires,
But are
we
they
have
really
something
going to
do.
push the division after she retires? It's hard to say.
It's tough, but
It's all revolved around her right
you
now.
know what happens now? If I'm Joe Silva, Dana White, or I do Misha Tate, Cyborg at catch weight of 140.
Yeah, that would be good.
Can
Bring
I ask
some
you guys
light
a
on
question though
Cyborg,
on
huh?
Holly Holm? Isn't she a really good striker?
World champ striker.
Yeah.
Boxer.
Yeah, boxer.
So you know there's issues with this fight when they go, Ronda's whole selling point. She's a former world champ boxer. Cool, man.
But
if you
she's
guys are
not-
boxing, I'm sold.
Yeah, she's not like a knockout girl either, so
No.
she's not likely to catch Ronda with a big knockout punch. So it's
Not
just
at all.
she doesn't, I don't think she really has the tools.
I would say Ronda has better MMA striking than she does.
100%.
Really?
Not even close.
Because of kicking and all that.
And she's just more vicious.
Ronda finishes people. Holly Holmes, I mean, outside the UFC, she's finished some people, and Holly Holmes is such a badass. She, as far as athletically, she's right up there with Ronda Rousey.
Wow.
If you go toe to toe athletically, she's right up there. But MMA, they're not in the same universe.
And Ronda could throw with a lot more conviction because she can go to something else from there.
Yeah, let's go to the ground.
Holly's
That's
not
the
gonna
other
be
thing.
able to throw with full conviction. She's going to be real hesitant.
The other thing what happens on the
exactly.
ground? What do you think's gonna happen when Ronda gets her down?
Armbar.
Whatever the
she
fuck she
wants.
wants.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy fight, but I get the way. If I'm the UFC, I do the same thing. What are you gonna do, man? We can't wait for Holly Holmes to fight 2 more times. Ronda wants to fight. It builds up the division because now we're at least aware of Holly Holmes. But does she have a chance of winning? No.
Here's me as her coach. Holly, remember our takedown defense? Keep her away, circle, pepper her with jabs, and then come in with your right hard. Hit with conviction, and remember our takedown defense. There's my coach.
That's terrible. This is what I'd say. Holly, remember how much money you're making? We're gonna do a lot of cool interviews after this. The worst that's gonna happen is you just tap. That's it.
Hey, man.
Great coaching.
Hey,
What,
bro, you're a
bro?
shitty coach. Holly, you hire me for sure. Holly, look at me. Anything's possible. My friend Tareq Azim went and created the female federation, Afghan Federation for boxing. If he can do that, you can knock Ronda Rousey out.
How about, hey, Holly, why don't you run for the first 5 minutes or at least get out of the first round with Ronda?
There you go.
True.
That's
I'm
what I
not mad
said.
at that.
That's what I said.
You know what I
Circle
mean?
and pepper. I call it circle and pepper.
But you didn't say that.
Pepper with your jab.
But you didn't
Pepper
say
with
what
your
I
jab.
said.
Now, if they do a straight boxing match where it's a different story.
Yeah, then that's a good-
Holly's
that's
a
a good
beast
fight.
boxing. Now you got to fight. MMA, there's no shot.
Ronda's hands are looking really good, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Her weight distribution, her stance.
Against
like,
Betch
complete night and day.
Correa.
Bitch, go here. Bitch, go
Anyways.
here.
Anyways.
Next current event.
What else you got, Ev?
Sort of next current event. So that's on UFC. That's the main event of UFC 195. Got a co-main lined up too.
God damn it. Joanna
Damn.
versus the Brazilian chick. Thanks for nothing.
guess.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Who is it?
What's her name? Claudia?
Joanna Jacek and Claudia Gadelia.
Didn't Claudia Gadelia fight her to
She
the distance?
just fought.
They-
It was some people think Claudia won that
Yeah.
fight.
So this is actually exciting to me.
It was a close fight.
So, I mean, how long ago was this that she fought her to the distance?
It was in, I don't know. It was in Phoenix. It was probably 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm excited.
I don't know, Schaub. I thought you'd be a little more excited. You like Joanna?
Yeah, Joanna's my favorite female fighter to watch. She's a fucking technician.
The 115-pound champ?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, she's good.
I've heard people say that she might be one of the best strikers, period, in the UFC.
I've never seen her fight. I don't know.
She's
she's good,
amazing.
man.
She's a 6-time world champ. She's
I've
by
heard-
far
I've
the
heard-
best
I've
female
heard
striker.
a lot of insane, great
Yeah,
things
her
about her.
stand-up's
I've
good.
never
She's by far the best female
privilege of
striker.
watching
To
it.
put her
She's
compared to
mean.
males is silly.
How
But
about that other girl that's in that division, Paige? Isn't she in the same weight class?
Paige Van Zant?
You don't
Yeah, I
want her
think so.
fighting
Here you go.
Joanna.
You don't want her
They
little
probably want to
pretty
build her a
face.
little more first.
She needs a lot more
Yeah,
experience.
I don't really want to watch that fight.
No, she's like scrappy
pretty.
and she's
Yeah,
winning
I don't
because
wanna see that.
she has the fighter's heart. You put in there with Joanna, you're gonna get she's gonna get
Vitamix.
jacked up.
I don't want to see her face get all.
No,
me
I
neither,
would like
man.
to see her build up a little first.
That fight's gonna be interesting.
I like Jake. Jake's like, I'd like to see her build up a little first.
I'd like
Go
to.
to Holland.
Go to Holland.
I'd like to see Holly Holmes and her both rise. Like those are the future of your division. Granted, Holly's a little older, but I mean, she looks good. Her dad. I don't know if you guys know. Her dad was. I think her dad was a stud too. Like she comes from a pedigree family.
See, if I'm
Yeah,
a
she looks really
115-pound girl like Paige Van Zandt, I'm getting on a plane. I'm going to Holland. I'm finding all of Joanna's coaches, and I'm training with them for 2 years.
Well,
So
the
I can
coaches aren't gonna.
Yeah, her
Oh
coaches
yeah,
aren't helping
let
you.
us build you up to beat our girl.
The girl's gone. She's in there. And, hey, I'm the new blood. Help me out. Teach me what you want.
This
I'll
makes
pay
no
you.
sense.
Well, you can tell
Why
someone
not?
never fought before.
Why would they not teach her?
Yeah.
See,
Oh,
I don't
you're gonna be a direct competitor. Yeah, let us show you how to beat our girl who we
That's
who
like
we've made.
that's like Jake having a rematch with Paul Harris and
wants
coming
to
over to
train
San
with-
Francisco
yeah,
and
he's gonna
training
train with Tariq.
Yeah,
Tariq's
okay,
training
for
for the
sure.
fight.
See what happens? I don't know this politics bullshit.
No, it's not politics.
I just wanna
that
learn.
would
It's
be
common sense.
that would be common sense where I come from.
Hey, you giant Dutch guys. I want to learn something.
Paige is killing the game though, but
Yeah.
Joanna's on another level.
Is she?
It's going to take years.
Wow.
Go to Tareq Azim. He might know a couple things. How to count.
He
It.
says no. What
Why
else
are
you
you
got,
shaking your
Ev?
head, man?
We'll do. This is an interesting one to talk about since Tarek's here. Kim Jong-un declared his frontline troops were ready for a quasi-state of war Friday.
Yeah, they're always.
So
That's
North Korea and South
Yeah,
Korea. shit's
they
getting
always
real
do that.
right
He
now.
declares war like all the time.
Yeah,
that
that's
guy's a
just too.
lunatic.
I wouldn't say it's a current event.
Well, it is in a way.
It's almost a tweet.
Because if they do get.
They do it every day.
Yeah, they do it every
That's
time.
not a current.
Yeah,
That's a
let's
tweet.
declare war with America.
Yeah,
again.
cool, man.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Well, Korea built a giant dam. North Korea built a giant. Check this out. They literally built a giant dam, and it's with the entire I can't remember the name of the river, and they have explosives, and they have always threatened South Korea with the fact that they will break that dam
And flood 'em?
flood all of Seoul. So what they did in South Korea was like, really? Okay, assholes, and they built a dam. And they built
Now
that, so they're like, you blow that up, it's just going to hit our dam, so fuck you.
bounce
And
back
it was-
on
yeah, it
it.
was
Dams on
a na- it was
dams
an-
on
it was a
dams.
national initiative. Everybody gave money. Dams
For
on dams.
sure, there's better ways to spend your time.
Yep.
I mean, God
They've
damn
always
it.
been in a state
Yeah, I
of war.
don't think the guy's the brightest guy.
Fuck,
He's
man.
it's a monarchy. He's a terrible, terrible
Do you
person.
think
So
Dennis
is his
Rodman had
dad.
anything to do with that decision?
Probably.
Probably.
Dennis was such a good spokesman for North Korea. Well done.
The only people worse than that guy would be the Subway guy for.
Jared.
He is so screwed. Jared
Oh, yeah.
Subway. You hear about Jared
Pleaded
Subway?
guilty. Good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah, I do.
Pleaded
Thing is,
guilty.
nobody's
They say
gonna-
he's screwed.
Nobody's gonna want to fuck him in jail though. He's not attractive.
Ooh, I disagree. Yeah.
You don't think
They might get pretty bored in there, though.
Probably. Dennis, your nose looks like a pincushion.
Do you think he's getting too little of a punishment for his crimes?
What is it?
I think he's
I
they're
thought
looking at close to 10 years, but it's probably gonna get cut in half to 5.
What was his crimes? Did
Having
he had
sex
child
with minors?
pornography?
He
or-
had sex with multiple minors.
Oh, he had sex
14
with them.
years and younger.
Yeah, sex with multiple minors, and then
What?
there's a paper trail of him trying to get even younger girls.
They had
Like,
so you know how he
shit,
got
what a
caught.
sick
You know how he got caught.
bastard.
He was because he set up a foundation to help kids eat healthy, and he was with a reporter, and the reporter's interviewing him, and they're off air, and he goes, "God, these fucking middle school girls are hot." She's like, "Huh?"
Oh my
So then they
God.
start communicating. They start to whatever.
God,
they
Build a
close.
case.
middle
So
school.
she told the FBI. or
So
something.
then he asks her. He goes, "She has little kids." He goes, "Hey, would you be cool and set up hidden cameras in your kids' rooms?"
What the hell?
Yeah, and then you tell me which one I should watch and jack off to or whatever.
What?
So
Oh,
she
What
she
the-
goes
I
to the
didn't know
FBI.
this.
She goes to the FBI. They've been building this case for 6 years now, and it's just finally now come out.
Damn.
Oh,
So he's had 6 more years of damage since
They have
Since
all
it's been
sorts of
known
shit
that he's
on him.
been a
Yeah.
piece of shit.
whoa. Hey,
Yeah.
Subway, how you guys doing in the boardroom? Oh, man.
Hey, Subway
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, so the guy lost
having a bad
whatever
month.
100 pounds eating fucking Subway sandwiches. He looked like a pedophile. I could have picked that guy from a fucking lineup.
Yeah, they always have that.
Me and Chris
opaque-
Hansen would have been like,
Pedophile lineup?
"Will you take a seat?"
Yeah.
So eating
Put
that
the
much
Subway sandwich
makes
down.
you do things like that.
Sir, please,
Sorry.
sir. That's not
Sorry.
the the
Sorry.
correlation. I'm gonna have
Somebody's
to
gonna
ask you
sue for never
I was
made
just
it.
wondering.
No,
You can't
sir,
wonder?
it's not.
Have you guys seen those Catch the Predators with Chris Hansen?
I
Yes.
haven't seen him.
You've
yeah.
never seen them?
I've heard of it. Seen it.
So
I've
they
seen, like,
they
make fun
set
of it,
him
never actually
up.
watched
They
them.
set him up. The pedophile comes in, and then the girl's like,
Oh,
"I'm gonna go
yeah.
upstairs. I'll be right back." And then
The
she
FBI
goes
runs
upstairs. And then
in.
Chris Hansen goes, "How you doing? You want to take a seat?" And the guy's just all shitty looking, sweating, and he has a 6-pack of Mike Hard lemonade. And he's like, "What are you doing there, man?" He's like, I'm just here to I'm here to educate her on her homework." And he's
And
like,
give her some
"Really?"
alcohol.
And then Chris Hansen busts out, "Is this your name on the web?" And he's like, "Are you fucking Dick Magnet 274?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's me." He's like, "Well, it says here you meant her to have sex with a 13-year-old boy." And he's like, "No, that's not me." And he swear to God, this happens.
Yeah.
Scrolls down, and goes, "Is that a dick pic? Is that your dick?" And he goes, "Yeah, it is, man. He told me he was 18." He's like, "Well, no, it says right here, it says I am 13." He's like, "Oh, it's weird. I didn't see that part." And he's like, "What are the
Somehow
condoms?
missed
What are the
that.
condoms doing in the bag?" "It's for protection." And they just keep going in a deeper hole.
It's so uncomfortable.
It's my favorite show.
Well, they caught a sheriff. They caught a rabbi.
They caught
they've caught
teachers.
They've caught
Probably a lot of people
teachers.
that are around children, probably.
They
Yeah.
got one guy
Yeah.
left his kids in the car to come into the house
No.
and fuck a little girl.
Wow.
Oh God!
Kids are in the car.
What the fuck is going on in this world?
It was the best. And then they'd be like,
best.
it was
guy-
the
this guy
best.
just loves
It was the
it.
best. Hey, and then they'd be like, "Can I leave?" And Chris Hansen like, "Yeah, I mean, Yeah, you can leave. They have just fucking badasses waiting outside who hate these guys.
Just beat
And
the
they're
shit out of them.
And they go,
They just
I'm
arrest
never
the
going
shit
to do
out
it
of
again. Thank you for bringing us to light. So they think they're free. They walk outside and they just get fucking double team
Swarmed.
tackled. And then they start crying. It's the best.
Well, your whole
They
life.
realize their life is fucked.
Yeah, your life is
Super
fun.
your life is
Done.
over.
Super
You don't really
Over.
recover from that.
No.
There's no coming back from
Hey
that.
guys, it was a
I was
phase.
just dabbling in it.
I went through a phase. I'm fine now.
You know what? They've noticed, though, they've caught the same guy on the same show like several times. He just can't get enough.
And he's just out.
How does he get out?
I have no idea.
Well,
He's
you
not
can
dead.
get out. The penalty. You're not going to
Because
go
they
to
don't
jail
actually
forever.
do anything?
No, you're gonna. In fact, a lot of times they get off on entrapment, and when they give you the rights to use their face, that's a whole other thing. Because
Plea
they have to
deals?
give,
They get a
you have to
plea
give
deal.
them the rights.
But
you can't just.
Why would
you know,
Correct me
anyone,
if I'm
why would
wrong.
anyone give them the rights?
It's ridiculous. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a buddy who's been in prison. Those pedophiles and guys who fuck
yeah.
with kids are screwed.
Oh, well,
like
my buddy's in jail for he was in jail for car theft, then killed a dude in jail in self-defense, but got second-degree murder, and then beat the fuck out of another guy within the range of his life. So he's a bad motherfucker.
Is this Con Air?
Yeah, and he goes like this. He
Did
goes,
you just give the plot of Con Air?
Yeah, sure.
And then he's on a
It's
plane.
in my-
And he's on a plane, and he's like, "Put the bunny back in the box." Yeah.
He goes like this to me. I go, what do you guys do with, because he was in state pen, this shitty there somewhere. And he goes, I go, what do you guys do with child molesters and stuff? And he goes, honestly? Yeah, he goes, well, we kill them.
Yeah, they have to keep them separated. From
Yeah,
the
they do. He goes,
population.
man, they send them motherfuckers down to Arizona, man.
Yeah, they can't be.
They don't bring
around
them
the
around
regular
us.
population.
No.
And I think they have to wear like pink, like
Damn.
everyone else is in orange. They're in
Good.
So everyone
Fuck
knows.
them.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
I
man.
mean, not all of them are bad people, guys. Well, it's like me doing fucking Seventh Heaven, which I did for a long time.
Oh yeah, remember Seventh Heaven then?
What the fuck is that?
Okay.
Oh shit!
I've heard of it, but don't know what it is.
Seventh Heaven was a
on
TV
the
show I did.
WB.
I did it for 2 years.
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
No
I
idea.
don't watch much
Oh,
TV.
classic.
You guys
show.
don't watch like an
I
All-American
watch a
Family?
lot of TV. I have no idea what that is at all.
It was a very. It was
I've
on
heard
for
of it,
it was
but I
on for
haven't seen it.
11 years.
How's the song go?
Seventh Heaven.
It's not ringing a bell.
It was on for 11 years. I got to be pretty good friends with the dad. We had a lot of our scenes.
He's like
together.
all American. Picture a white Bill Cosby.
Stephen Collins.
Before,
I don't know if this
before
Bill-
he
you
was
don't
raping
use
bitches.
Bill Cosby.
Think of a white Bill Cosby, like
Such-
all American.
Oh yeah, he was
such
cool
a-
back then.
Yeah.
Before he started raping.
Yeah.
women.
such a
Before all
nice,
that shit.
such a nice guy, and apparently he exposed himself to I think an 11-year-old girl. He showed her his junk, and you're like,
No, he
please-
molested. You know, it's a
I
fact.
think
He
she might
molested
have, I
kids.
think she might have touched it. The point is there was probably other stuff, but the bottom line is he admitted it in therapy with his wife, and his wife, they went through a divorce. His wife was like, and I'm going to show everybody this.
No, she released the tapes.
Yeah. But the bottom line is you kind of go yourself, you just never fucking know. You just never know who is a freak.
Don't trust your kids around.
It was such a
anybody's the
bummer,
moral of
though, because the
story.
guy was, it's just, that's one of those things where you're like, there's no coming back.
What would you do as a parent?
I'd have to kill him.
Kill him,
Probably
right?
gotta
And be
kill him,
completely
yeah.
okay with it.
Do you know,
Yeah,
though,
it'd be good.
do you know that
You have to kill him and hope you don't get in trouble.
they found that this is so fucked up, that a lot of pedophiles are left-handed. And so the idea might be that it's a neurological, like they think that eventually they'll be able to point to someone's brain and say
Maybe try
you
to
have this
fix
tendency.
what the disease is.
Yes. And so now the real debate becomes this: if it is neurological, if it is a form of quote unquote brain damage, brain sickness, and
Cut their
you
hand
can
off.
fix it,
Cut their dick off.
then what does that say about punitive damage? More importantly, here's the real
They
question.
still
I say-
acted on it. You
I
know,
say
whether
kill
they
him.
can
Oh, no,
help-
no,
whether they
but-
can help it
Swear
or
to
not.
God.
I say
still
kill 'em
acted
all.
on it.
Well, you certainly
Let
can't
the
have them-
paramedics
you
sort 'em
kill
out.
them, kill them all, or if it's a sickness, at least they can't be around the regular population.
Yeah,
certainly
try to
not
find a way to
children.
separate them or fix it or.
Right, but here's the biggest question.
Do we just ship them all to like Florida?
But here's the thing: if you have this overwhelming compulsion, let just humor me on this.
Yeah, like
here's the question.
people are gay, for example. They probably can't help it.
Exactly.
No, they're wired. That
Exactly.
way.
Exactly.
But
They're
it's
wired.
not
hurting
That's where you're
anyone.
gonna-
No.
That's what's huge.
No,
difference.
but think about this. You could be a really good person. I mean, you could literally be a very good person, and you have an overwhelming compulsion to touch.
Hey
children.
man,
Listen.
are you making a case for child molesters and Bill Cosby right
Why are you
now?
looking at me this way?
is weird.
No, Cosby just didn't like having sex with girls that were awake.
But it's actually a debate that you kind of have to have legally, because what if
a legit point.
what if you have a neurological problem? But
Well,
you can
serial
give
killers-
somebody-
But they
right.
still act
Serial
on it.
killers
They
have
still-
neurological
but they still
problems.
are reacting
Serial
on it.
killers have different brains.
Serial
a lot of
killers are
times.
built different,
They have
too.
different. They have underdeveloped. They have a form of. They're able to see in certain cases that they have an underdeveloped amygdala or whatever.
So you're
question
not saying they
becomes-
get a pass.
No, fuck no. A pass. I can't have them around my kids. But they always say with child like people who have overwhelming compulsion to touch a child, they can't talk to anybody. You talk to anybody.
That's what maybe they should have people they can go talk to about
Right.
it. No, I agree with that.
Right,
it's been so
and-
stigmatized that they can't even go talk to anyone
Exactly,
about their
because
disease.
the idea, we all agree that the main thing is less than punishment. We don't want children being touched or having being sexually
Molested,
molested. That's the number one thing. How do we protect children? If that means creating a safe haven for people who have this compulsion and letting them talk to somebody and get help in however they can, that actually, I hate to say, is more important than punishment, because punishment happens after they've
it
destroyed
could
a
cut.
child's
It could,
life.
You know what that
it could
place is
cut
called?
the rates way down.
Right.
You know what that place is called? Toys R Us. That's where they go and get help.
Is that why
Toys
they,
R Us.
But
we-
that's where they shouldn't be going to get help.
That's
know, it's
definitely
not.
where they shouldn't be. But that becomes
I agree.
the important thing, you know? Like, what do we do? Like, how do you if
Amen.
somebody has, because there are people that have these fucking overwhelming things, they can't talk to anybody.
New project T.
Done.
Done.
Yeah, the problem.
Dude,
no one-
but it's a
the
real
problem
issue,
is
though.
no one wants
It's an
to, no
issue.
one wants to deal with the project. It's like so disgusting that no one even wants to take it on. But you're right. People do need to deal with these a different approach.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's so counterintuitive to us because we go,
Because
well,
it makes
I
you
wanna-
first thing you
I
want to
wanna
do is just kill them. But
Yeah.
maybe you could help them instead.
Is there help though?
Well, apparently
Not yet, but maybe there could be.
there could be. For example, one of the things is voluntary castration or chemical castration. You can take chemicals and it'll
Who's gonna
shut
sign up for
down
that?
your
Well,
testicles.
maybe it'd be better if you had that sickness. Maybe you'd be willing to do it.
True, if it was an option.
'Cause, yeah,
if it was
maybe-
like
maybe
a.
you don't
If you're
wanna have
struggling
it,
with
maybe-
it, right?
yeah.
You're struggling with it.
Yeah,
You guys
there
are
are-
struggling
But
with
don't you think some guys
Some
like it?
probably would do
Sure.
it. But some
Would
probably,
you say
some
the
would probably
majority
be willing
like
not
it?
to.
We don't know. We don't know. I do think that a lot of people, there is the notion that you don't choose to be a child molester. What happens is you wake up and you're older and you go, I'm attracted
Well,
to
you
children.
choose.
I wonder if
acting on
that's.
it,
I
because
think
you
with
guys
some.
can't help what
I think
they're
that's
attracted
some.
to.
Yeah.
You can't have what you're attracted to. That's what I'm saying.
And that's why some of the guys would get the castration because they just don't want to be that way.
Yes, and the idea is that there are people who say, oh my God, I'm a good person, but I have this overwhelming need to touch children. Oh, holy fuck. So for me, less than punishing
Not a good
them-
person in my book.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, less than punishing them. I want to make sure that that we figure out a way to get them to not touch
To
children.
solve the problem.
Yeah. And it's
God,
hard,
what
man,
a
because
slippery
It
slope.
is,
man.
because
That's
my
why-
instinct
that's why no
is
one's
to
doing
kill
that, 'cause
them.
it's such a tricky issue. Exactly. The first thing you think is you want to kill them.
Yeah.
But maybe they actually need some help instead.
If they talk about sociopaths like that, like they always say, well, sociopaths, like you think, well, you have no feeling and you're the cause of all the problems. What's interesting about certain sociopaths is that they actually want social status. So they'll do a lot of really good shit because it makes them look good.
Right.
And they're really good at creating sort of situations where they're really empathetic. They'll start charities and stuff like
Cosby,
that.
fucking
Whatever the
home
case.
Subway boy.
Yeah.
All of them.
Whatever the case. So all of a sudden you go, oh, geez, it's just an interesting.
I'm going to ask you this. I want you to be honest.
Yeah.
Did the seventh heaven dad touch your dick? Because after this whole
That's why you're
story,
saying he's a good
all I
person.
could think, you were like, he's a good person, man.
a good
and
guy.
His hands are soft and there's no calluses.
Yeah, it's true. I'm being very.
I want you to be
sympathetic.
dead serious,
I'm being
though.
very
No, just
sympathetic.
kind of admit it on the
I dressed
show.
up like a little girl on Halloween, and I did trick or treat at his door, but I wasn't wearing pants.
Did he bring you inside?
No.
Did he give you a lollipop?
No, but it is.
Did you get any weird feeling being around him?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Because I was a guy. Obviously, he wasn't attracted to me. Obviously,
Your kids
I
were
I
never
was an
around
adult.
him?
No, I didn't
They
have
were never
children
on
back.
set?
I didn't have children back then.
Did he call you like 12 years later when he found out you had kids? Hey, Brian, what's going on, man? Want to grab a drink?
Brian's like, not
I haven't
funny.
heard from you in like 12 years. Yeah, I know. Want to meet at Toys R Us? I guess.
How about I just come over? What's with the enthusiasm?
Man, you know what? I'll just
He
come
wants- he
over.
wants to
Why
catch
do you
up.
have all these presents?
Why do you have a shitload of candy, man? I haven't seen you in 12
Since
years.
when do you want to babysit? This is strange. We're not making fun of child molestation.
We're making
by
fun of
way.
the seventh heaventh
Yeah.
demon. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck
your
that guy.
friend.
Right. Jeez. Hey, Brett.
Is that it?
Yeah, that got a little out of hand.
Got a little out of hand. Yeah, man. Thanks, Brendan, for making light on child molestation.
I'm not at all.
How do we even get to this? Like, where did it?
This is what
Subway
happens
guy.
on this
That's how
podcast.
it
Oh,
goes.
Subway
We go
guy,
down these
Subway guy,
weird
yeah. How the
holes,
fuck
man.
did
We go
get
from
here?
inspiration with
And then I
Tareq
got
Azim.
child
to-
molestation.
Then
How
I
the
got
fuck did
crunk
it
on
do
To
this?
Catch a Predator. I think they stopped doing it.
I think they did for legal reasons.
I think guys were getting off.
Yeah, or they were suing or something.
Well, that's a
Getting
horrible use of words there.
Phrasing.
Yeah, I think
Check your phrasing.
I think the child molesters, because it was on TV,
We're
Yeah.
getting
they didn't
convicted.
sign up for it.
Right.
They were getting out of their
Probably.
conviction. Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, this is edgy. This is an edgy podcast right now.
Bro, I had a friend who texted me who I went to college with, and he's like, hey, a buddy who we went to college with, I won't say his name, was like, hey, I think blah, blah, blah is going to be on Catch a Predator. I was so crunk. Like my buddy
Got
made
excited.
it. I was like, oh, shit. Oh,
Jim
shit.
from high school.
Yeah,
was on
like,
the sh-
hell
the
yeah.
show.
Get his ass.
Oh, wait,
couldn't
I got a crazy
Never saw him, by the way. I think it was a lie.
I got a crazy story for you.
Bring
So,
it.
My buddy Mitch Rouse should really tell the story, but he told me the story about there was a guy, I think his name was Danny Schultz. And Danny was a crazy motherfucker. Danny was the guy who would ride on a fucking hood like at 60 miles an hour. Like, well, Danny! He was always like, oh, fucking Danny's here. You know, the guy in the party. He's like, oh, it's about to go off. Danny
High school
showed
or
up.
college?
High school. Fucking football player, jack kid, crazy as fuck. He'd be the one to light the M80 and throw it like, almost killed me, that guy.
Those guys usually don't have a future. with
So
Canada.
he goes back to his high school reunion, his 10-year high school reunion. And he's like, where the fuck is Danny Schultz? And Danny's cousin is there, and then his brother like was there and kind of leaves, and it was weird. And he goes, "But what?" He doesn't hear it, and nobody answers. And he's like, "We're talking to him." And he goes, "Hey, where the fuck is Danny?" And the guy goes, he's had some problems." Like, what is Danny? Where would
minor
Danny?
issue.
Danny would be here. What are you talking about? Of course, Danny's here. Where's Danny? And I go, and it gets heavy. It gets heavy. He goes, "What the fuck is going on? What happened to Danny?" They go, Danny's in the big house right now, and he's going to be there for a long time. And they go, well, what'd he do? He goes, and nobody wants to say. He goes, you tell him. I'm not going to tell him. And they go, well, what the fuck?
No.
So finally his cousin goes, look, man, Danny,
Can't wait to hear this.
Danny met a waiter at Applebee's. And he goes,
Standard.
a waiter at Applebee's. He goes, yeah, he would go to Applebee's as well, and there was a waiter there, and they got to be friends, this dude and him. And he's like, all right. And he goes, and then
Oh, he's gay?
he wasn't gay. He had girlfriends. Danny was far from gay. And he goes, and apparently he took the waiter out in a cornfield, and he tried to fuck him. And he apparently held down, and he did fuck him. He fucked him. He raped him. And then he tried to kill him, but the guy got away.
Oh my god.
Danny went.
In a cornfield.
Fucking Danny.
Danny went a little crazy. Like,
Are you still friends with Danny? You kept
I,
in touch?
I didn't know him, but this is my buddy Mitch. who's
Danny's
telling me
the
story.
seventh heaven's dad. I meant to tell you guys this.
Apparently, Danny tried to
They're
fuck,
friends again.
and Danny raped and tried to kill a waiter, a dude who worked at Applebee's.
Hey, Applebee's waiter, figure it out.
Right, I guess-
Danny's like, hey, man, you mind if I get another awesome blossom, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, man, what are you doing after this?
I guess it was.
I don't know. Why? Let's
go to the cornfields.
Want to go to this cornfield? I guess, man. Hey, I'm going to drive to the cornfield.
That's what it said.
As soon as I'm at Applebee's and someone goes, hey, want to go to the cornfield? I'm like, oh, no, you're a killer. No, I'm good.
Yeah,
man.
if any of my friends ask me to
Right.
cornfields, I'm out.
If you tell me, hey, you want to drive to the cornfield? We'll drink some beers and smoke some weed.
Yeah, I'm passing.
I definitely. Well, you got cauliflower.
man.
First of all, you got cauliflower ears, Jake. I'm definitely not doing
Hey,
that.
man,
with
want to
you.
jump in my Ford Thunderbird and drive to the cornfields? No. That sounds horrible.
You're a guy,
Excuse
so-
me, sir. Are you trying to suck my dick? For free Applebee's? I'm going to give you the $4 and get out of here.
Nobody can see me in a cornfield. I saw Children of the Corn. I don't know what's going on here.
Sir, is that a varsity high school jacket and a Ford Thunderbird?
Why
Are
do
you
you
trying
have
to fuck me in a cornfield? I'm no detective, but
It smells like cornflakes, and you got a boner. What's going on here? This isn't working out.
I'm not going to suck your dick for a full rack of ribs and awesome blossom. I'm just not going to do it, man.
It's got a value more than that.
Why am I still wearing my name tag? Come on, Adam.
Come on, Adam.
Adam, keep your. Hey, Adam, Adam, what is your last name anyway? Anyway, keep that name
That's a lot
tag
of
on.
flair you have on. You know how Applebee's have all those goddamn buttons all over the place? Why so much flair on,
Nothing
bro?
I enjoy more than corn and butt fucking.
Good old Danny.
Hey, Adam, time to get cornholed. No pun intended.
Have you ever had a nice full rack of ribs and a nice dick suck in a cornfield? It's called the old Applebee's special.
You know what I mean? I'll have the number
my favorite
5.
snack.
I'll have the
Got some
number
corn
5,
nuts.
and for dessert, I think I'll have the cornhole, please. Thanks so much.
Hey, you know what? I'll take some jalapeno poppers and fucking in the ass. Can you do that?
Here's
Is
my,
there any way I can get a Mike Hart's lemonade? Oof.
And
A
a
whole
corn dog?
batch of onion rings.
We should have listened to this podcast before agreeing to do
What's,
it to you.
what's this? Is this a corn dog right here?
What the hell's happening?
I don't know, but get me a
It's
cigarette. Keep this shit going.
It's time for me to serve you for once, Adam, and here's a corn dog. Yeehaw! Gonna have to kill you, though, unfortunately. Anyway, guys, that's a true story.
Fucking Danny.
I'm sorry we're making light of this, but I hope people are laughing.
Your friend's screwed. Let's go.
So are we.
Question.
So are we.
Only Mel Rape's funny.
Exactly. There go
Yeah,
all
it's
our,
only funny if it's guy on guy.
there go all our sponsors. Go ahead.
All right.
Hey, more of the. If you can take away anything from the story, stay out of cornfields, man. Hey, stay out of Applebee's.
Somebody
Stay
just
out of
met at
cornfields.
Applebee's. Don't go to the guys who met at Applebee's.
No,
to
this
cornfields.
is an inspiring podcast. That's what we aim for. Stay out of cornhole. Stay out of cornfields.
Stay out of corn.
Stay out of cornfields. Stay out of Applebee's, kids. Stay safe. Stay safe.
I don't even know if it was Applebee's, but for the story it was. All right, keep going.
All right.
Applebee's freaks me out,
right.
man.
Jesus.
Normal segue.
Applebee's $7.99. Feed a family of 4. It's like Jesus Christ. What is this stuff made out of, man?
Yeah.
Anyways, go.
Anyway.
Applebee's ain't gonna be a
It's
sponsor.
made out of corn.
Applebee's not sponsoring the show
A
now.
lot of corn.
All right. First question is for Jake. You see Paul Harris in the street. What happens?
I'm punching the guy in the face if I ever see him. Yeah, I hate that guy. I'm gonna hit him if I ever
So
see
if you
him.
see him, so you're at Phil's Coffee in San Fran,
I'm punching him.
and Paul Harris walks in, orders a nice, fresh, fucking mojito iced coffee. You're just gonna be like, "Hey, Paul."
I'll at least
Boom.
I'll at least dump my coffee on him.
That makes sense. Burn his face.
You
His
would like to.
And if he
bro.
tries to fight me, I'm gouging his eyes.
No, I got you, bro. Give him a gift certificate at Applebee's.
That's the best. Paul. But you know what? I'm not mad. I got your gift certificate. Here you go.
Bro, here's this.
I'm
Ask
not
for
even
Adam.
mad.
Ask for Adam.
Hey,
Was it Danny?
If you
Was
want
it
dessert,
Danny?
go to the cornfield.
Paul Harris, guess what? Danny Schultz is my new friend. You guys should go
Here,
check
go to
out the
Applebee's.
cornfield.
Here's $25 at Applebee's. This will feed a family of 8 for 10
Yeah,
years.
you're right.
By the way,
It's not
Danny,
worth hitting him.
Danny
That's a
Schultz ain't
better.
fucking Paul Harris. Paul Harris is a tough.
He's doing the fucking, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Paul Harris came out. Thanks, man. That was an amazing time. I fucked the shit out of that guy in the cornfield. Whoa.
And I gouged his eyes
Whoa.
out.
And I had a fucking awesome blossom and a fucking tall lemonade, man. That was a great deal. You're a good sport, Jake. What else? you
Edgy.
got?
We're edgy, man.
All right. Next one is for Tareq. What's the craziest thing you've seen in your career as a police officer?
Well, he's not a police officer.
That's
That'd be
his
his
brother.
That's
Oh,
Joseph.
that's
Yosef.
You can answer for Yosef.
Joseph.
You can pretend like you're Yosef real quick.
Well, Yosef took us on that down the Tenderloin where
Right.
me and Bryan, I took it a little too serious,
Yep.
and I got in trouble with Yosef.
Yep.
Were you like
So
trying to yell at
calm you
people?
down. He goes, "Hey, calm
Get
down.
on the ground.
No, I
I
think he
slapped the
started.
head of the car and was like, "I'm like, and
Trying to
Yosef
speak
was like,
Spanish,
"Bro,
yeah.
We love your
chill,
brother, man. We love your
We
brother.
love Yosef.
Yosef's a
one of our
beast.
favorite people. Has he been in any tricky situations?
He just had a real tricky situation just 2 days ago, actually, right when we had got down to L.A. Some kid from the community that he works with in the Tenderloin was obviously trying to stand up for himself, and a couple of individuals, from the opposite gang or whatever the situation. I mean, I don't know the full details, but he was there right when a kid got stabbed in the heart. Just 2
Stabbed
days
in the
ago.
heart?
Yeah, man.
And I'm assuming he passed away.
Actually, no, they're able to save him.
Thank
So I don't
God.
know if it truly punctured the heart, but the report came out as him, some kid been stabbed
So
in the
he
heart.
was in a confrontation, dude, knife to the heart.
Right. He spent the
Jesus,
day,
man.
at the hospital with their family, really trying to get questions out. And
This
he
is
said to me the
Yosef's
other day,
boy.
Yeah, a lot of times this is what would push people away from what he does, but inspires him to be that much more invested
Well,
in the
what
community.
we talked about when we were with Yosef is he's like one of the guys. He's like part of the community.
Right.
They love him.
Yeah.
Like the thugs did, the crackheads did.
Well, that's because Joseph really gives a shit.
Yeah,
He
he goes
gives
out and
back
actually
to 'em.
actually communicates to the people instead
Yeah,
of just trying
man.
to harass them.
Yeah.
And of course, there's times where you got to go after people hard, but he
Yeah.
gets both sides to get the respect.
Yeah, it was cool to see.
Yeah.
I could not do his
Yeah.
job.
It's tough.
So I
man.
mean, it's
There's some
tough. Like
crazy people
everything
out
the
there.
kid the kid deals with on a daily basis is super tough. But it just motivates him to keep doing what he's doing. Because
If I had to nominate a guy, if someone said, "Hey," besides the kid Callen, if someone said you could go out with anyone a Friday night anywhere in the world and you can bring one person besides the kid here, Yosef is my guy. You bring Yosef.
What if you're
to
going
a
to
party,
Toronto?
Well, then Jake Shields my guy. I didn't say international.
Jay Shields,
okay.
that good question, by the way.
That's a legit
Very
point.
good question.
what if we're going to a football game?
Well, then I got to bring you. Okay, man.
Tareq Azim.
You're getting into details.
We're a little offended you're picking.
I'm
Joseph
sorry,
over us.
man.
He's
We
not
came
even
out here to see
Yosef
you. Yosef
is
didn't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Tareq got mad because I was training with somebody else yesterday.
Well, you ditched us to train.
ditched
with
us.
We all
He's
got
very
mad.
territorial.
Come on, I know.
Hey,
he
we
did.
talked shit about you for 45 minutes. Solid for it. I just was throwing bombs under the bus. This.
One of my favorite
It's always
things to do.
good when you can't defend yourself.
One of my favorite things to do is talk shit about my friends.
Yeah, as
That's
soon,
what me and Callen
as, soon as
do.
they leave, just start going.
Hey,
on
and then
them.
it all got topped off on the drive.
What do you mean?
Say it.
Oh, yeah. So silly. So silly.
Anyways, so you missed it. Too bad if you were there, you would have heard it.
Hey guys,
you missed out.
include me.
Yeah, we can't include you.
No,
on
you
that.
Include
missed
me.
out on a
Hey,
good time.
I don't have cauliflower ears, but include me. All right.
I
go
was
ahead.
trying to give you cauliflower. But never.
Don't.
What else you got, Ev?
All right. This one's from C for Feek, and he wants to know this for Tareq also. How do you continue to train during Ramadan? I need advice from a pro for next year.
So explain what Ramadan is.
We were out there
Yeah,
when you were
I
fucking
was training,
dying.
man,
Trained
and
Ramadan,
we've
yeah.
been training partners for 10 years now. And
But sometimes you struggle when you can't drink the water.
Yeah,
like there's days we spar afterwards, and I'm just so thirsty. It's like hot, and he's like can't go drink afterwards.
started cramping.
You can't do anything, right?
Yeah, no
It's-
food, no.
Sunset, sundown.
it's tough. You know, you'd really have to organize your training schedule really based around your eating schedule. So I would eat a smaller meal at nighttime and try to get late evening training sessions in and get my technical work in really early in the morning. You know, because you could eat up to about 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning.
So you basically carb load in the morning.
Try to carb load in the morning, yeah.
For you guys who don't know what Ramadan is, it's the month-long fast that Muslims do every year, where you're not allowed to even drink water. You're not really even allowed to swallow from sun up to sundown, and it's kind of like an atonement.
Right,
sort of a
right. So you want to use
purification.
midday to really try not to do much. Really early morning training and really late evening training.
Well, we were out there when you were training with all the guys, with Jake, freaking
Yeah.
Ramsey. And
Right.
You were hurting.
right.
Man,
but see, the thing is,
I don't
these guys
eat
are
after I
training
train.
camp,
Oh,
so
Oh, I know. I'm
Stop.
lightheaded.
Just
man.
get angry, right? When you work
Electrolytes too,
out, you
man.
just say,
I need fluids first.
It's a different type of hunger and thirst.
I
People don't
agree.
understand that don't train.
I thought it was dangerous for you, to be honest.
yeah. No, it gets kind of tough, but a lot of that stuff you utilize, later, like reflecting, like, okay, I could dig deep. This isn't as bad as when I was fasting.
It's
and
gonna make
training,
you
know what I
mentally
mean? It really
strong, for
does.
sure.
It really does. But to answer the question, if it's not your own training camp, then I would do that.
Yeah.
Start really early.
What's give us the update on Ramsey? What's his deal? So he got screwed over in his last fight.
Man, that decision was terrible.
Super terrible. He won the fight. They screwed him over.
That's one of the worst I've seen.
How many how many fights did he have left on
I
his
think
contract?
Ramsey's got one more fight left on his Ultimate Fighter contract. He's had 13 or 14 fights for the
He's
UFC
still on
now.
Ultimate Fighter?
Still on the Ultimate Fighter contract. I think he's got one more fight left, and I just don't know what's going to happen with that and when they're going to give him a fight again. They told him that his hand was broken and he couldn't fight, and it ended up being that he's cleared to fight now. So it wasn't.
Is
that
he
bad
trying
of
to
a break.
renegotiate already or no? Usually the UFC is when you have one contract left.
I think they tried to do that prior to the last fight.
Yeah, they usually do.
But they weren't able to really get anywhere with it. So there's a lot going on. It's,
Oh, yeah.
it's, you know
He's a good dude.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I know how it goes.
Next question, Ev.
This one's for Jake. What was it like being on Bully Beatdown?
It was pretty cool. We always went out there, not taking it serious. Got to go mess around and beat some people up. So it was a cool experience.
How serious is it? Is it for reals or no?
It's like they're kind of messing around. They tell us to rough the guys up a little bit, but not
don't
hurt 'em.
go
Like,
nuts.
try not to hurt them, rough them up. And as far as the guys go, I think it's like they send in the story to the producer. So most of them probably are friends making it up. A few of them might be real, but like the producers aren't making the stories up. The kids are making the stories up
Yeah,
to get on TV.
for
Oh, that's
sure.
great.
You know, generation everyone wants to get
Have
on
you
TV.
ever seen Bully
so.
Beatdown?
Yeah.
Well, did they try to come at you a little high?
Most of them
feet
came in
and say
pretty
who you
hard.
are?
So you had to beat them up a little bit.
Do you still-
most of the guys train a little bit. Like they're not
So they
like
have an
professional
idea,
fighters, but a lot of
yeah.
guys like you release wrestlers or done boxing
Yeah, like
for
Callen,
a year.
yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So those guys they think they can fight, but they're not quite.
Just
that
like
level.
Callen.
No,
Exactly.
Callen can fight. He just doesn't have a
Callen,
chance
dude,
to yet.
He's just in a tape. He could be like bullying somebody.
It's so true.
No,
That's-
Callen will
I
surprise
could.
you
He
though.
could totally act out the bully though. Like I'm beating these guys up. I
That'd
can totally
be
see
great.
you on the show.
I'm not that intimidating.
Let's send one into.
unfortunately.
We're
You
still doing the
actually
show.
are.
We'll send you
Are,
one.
are you still friends with
Your
Mayhem?
ostrich walk? Forget about
Me
it.
and Mayhem.
brother. Thank you.
For a while we hated each other, but then.
Because you fought Mayhem.
Yeah. We had a beef going on for a while. But
Yeah, I
now
remember
we're
that.
kind of friends.
Okay, you guys are cool.
What was
now?
the beef?
Yeah, I'll tell
right.
that another time.
I just wanted
So
to.
it is a pretty funny story. I think I'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
I think I remember that when you were giving an interview and he just shows up in your face.
Oh yeah, he cut me off in the interview, and after I beat Dan Henderson, he jumped in the ring and kind of.
Diaz and all them.
And
all,
he's
the,
like,
all you
"Where's
guys
my
jumped in.
rematch?" And we kind of mopped him up real quick.
Yeah.
There it is.
That was a bad. Hey, that was a bad idea. Jumping in the ring with all you guys trying
Yeah, I
to
mean,
get
I don't know
that
what he's
done.
thinking. It's like, especially
Diaz,
right after your fight, your energy's
Gil.
all pumped
Yeah,
up. This guy
man.
comes in my face, tries grabbing the mic,
Bad
and I'm
idea.
just like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah, hell no.
And
Bad
then
idea.
Nick runs over, and he's just like, "Oh shit!"
I love how close all you guys are. That whole clique.
Yeah, it's
Someone fucks with me. I got
great team.
Callen. It's me and Callen.
that
That's it.
sucks.
And then-
Basically, you.
And if
No,
Rogan,
because
At least you'll fight with him. At least you'll
if
fight with him.
Rogan's there, some shit will go down. If it's me, Callen, and Rogan, you have
No,
some
my-
Dude,
issues.
at least you got backup.
Sometimes.
couple of hyenas.
Good one, two hyenas.
Next question, Evan.
All right,
Give us the next question.
we'll do this one and we'll wrap it up. This is from Ruben Elian. He wants to know, after becoming pro MMA fighters, what's the biggest unexpected surprise to you in the fight game? Whether it be girls, money, crazy business shit. What was the biggest surprise to you after going pro?
Jake.
Well, a lot of crazy business for sure.
Yeah.
The girls definitely aren't bad.
I
Don't know if it's a
expected
surprise,
that, though.
but
That
yeah,
wasn't a
you
surprise.
You kind of expect that.
I expect to get STDs.
Brendan,
What, man?
excuse me, sir.
Well, it's something that comes with the territory, man. Nothing a shot or a pill can't fix.
Luckily, I have a good immune system, so I'm cool.
Yeah, no, I'm good there.
gonorrhea.
I would say the business aspect of it. You never think of the whole business side of things when you get into professional sports, and then when you realize it, you're like, oh wait, there's a lot of money involved. There's a shitload of politics and business that come with this. It's not about just fighting, punching people in the face.
Exactly. We're young, and that's all we're thinking is, I just want to get in there and fight.
Yeah,
You don't
man,
even
I'll
think-
sign
You don't
anything.
even think about the
I
business.
was signing
and then
everything.
you realize, like, fuck, I want to make some money.
I remember I was crunk for 8-8. I was like, oh hell
yeah,
yeah,
I'm
that's
getting
so
paid.
cool.
Yeah, then you realize that's
Taxes,
no money.
managers, all this stuff. You're like, oh shit, I have $4. I have $4.
8. Damn.
Yeah, it's a brutal business.
Yeah.
Real business.
You don't get into it to make a lot of money.
But
No, I definitely tell kids that they shouldn't sign up to fight trying to make money. Only if you really love it and really want to do it.
Well, with if you have a son, would you let him fight?
I would let them, but I wouldn't encourage it. Only if you wanted to. Like,
Yeah.
if someone's passionate and wants to fight, then they should do
Then
it.
you're gonna help 'em.
But you shouldn't do it like trying to be like, I'm gonna do this to make a lot of money. There's easier ways to make money than fighting for sure.
True. Yeah, you're the exception for sure. You've had a
Yeah, there's-
tremendous.
Oh no, yeah,
career.
guys do make money doing it, but it's not the norm. And there's
It's tough,
You know, you
man.
put your energy into something else, you're gonna make money. You put that kind of energy into anything, you're gonna make it.
You're gonna be successful.
Yeah, so
I
it's like
agree.
put that energy somewhere else, unless you truly love the sport.
True. Well,
Guys, this has been fun.
it's been a lot of fun.
funny.
Went down
Let's
a
go.
weird road for
Do
sure.
you have to get out of here, Tareq? Can we get some food? Or
Do you mind if we go to Applebee's or
No,
you go.
cornfield?
all
There
on
you
me?
go.
You know what? Do you mind if we just drive to Cornfield or
Hey, this is getting weird.
it's getting real weird?
Weird.
T, where can they find you?
Here.
In California?
I was
Okay.
I just
At
went on a
Empower
joke.
Gym?
Yeah, at
Empower
Empower Gym in San
Cisco?
Francisco. It's called EmpowerConcept.com. We have a couple of locations in San Francisco, but our main headquarters is right on 747 Front Street.
Boom.
And everyone's invited to come kind of see what we do.
great gym.
You guys
You're
are
hosting
always-
the Super Bowl.
We're involved. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to be involved with the little program for the Super Bowl committee out there. And
San Fran's hosting
yeah,
the Super Bowl,
San
so
Fran's got
yeah.
the Super Bowl. Daniel Lurie,
We're going to be
CEO,
up there. We're going to do
founder
a
of
live
Tipping
podcast
Point, is the
from
chair
Super
for
Bowl
it.
from
Yes,
Empowers.
yes, we are.
That'd be awesome. That'd be a great week.
Where can they find you on Twitter, Instagram, all that
At
shenanigans?
Tareq Azim, it's TareqAzim
Boom. There you have
on
it.
Twitter, and then Instagram is TareQ.Azim.
Yeah, for sure match
what I
them so
mean?
they're the same, though.
Yeah,
huh?
man.
I
let's do
tried.
that.
I had to
Do you
cancel
hate
the last
followers,
one.
Let's
or-
go ahead and do that, bro. Huh?
You guys inspired me to start that thing. You remember?
Yeah,
Wanted to
we
go to San
did.
Francisco last.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And
So
taking selfies.
I'm coming up. And every time I'm with you guys, I get like 200 new followers. So let's just hang out a couple more times so I
Deal.
can get up in that 10,000 club.
Jake the
We'll get
Great
something.
Shields. Where can they find you, my man?
Twitter, Jake Shields AJJ,
Yep.
Jake Shields Instagram. This weekend I'm gonna be down at the Fit Expo. Anyone in LA with Chimera Coffee? You know, one of my.
What time? And what time are you down there? When if the fans want to hear you, what time can they come down
We're
there?
gonna be what time down there? I think like 10, probably like 10 to 5. Yeah, it's a company I'm with. Chimera, great coffee. You've had it.
Tremendous
It's,
coffee. Yes.
Brennan drinks it every morning.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, something I
I'm
truly
trying to
believe
get
in, yeah.
Callen to
You
get
got
on
yeah,
this
you gotta
kick.
Gotta
try
get
it.
on
It's
it.
amazing.
I gotta get
It's
on it.
really, really
It
good.
really is a little different for more active,
I'm new friends with those guys.
more active people. It's a little different. It's a
Young
little different
guys,
cup
by
of
the way.
coffee.
Young
Yeah.
guys, the owners of Chimera Coffee. Young,
One, two
handsome
cutie
kids.
pies from Dominican
How about their
Republic.
accents though?
I know, man.
When they say
They're
particular words
refined.
with the
You know what
rolling
they are? They're a
R's,
couple
like,
of refined gentlemen. That's what they are.
I didn't
Chimera.
recognize them. I didn't
Chimera.
recognize them.
Yeah, we
I
were-
thought they were 2
You're
white
Dominican,
boys.
Yeah, you're like these guys aren't.
I
from
thought for
Dominican.
sure they're gonna be dark, like baseball hats. I know that's racist. I don't know.
a couple white guys. And
I thought they would come on
Yeah,
with
you thought it
bats.
was a trick.
Yeah, like baseball
brought
bats
the
and
baseball bat.
coffee in
Frank
one
brought the
hand.
baseball bat. You
That's
didn't
what I
see it?
thought, man.
Dominican,
Way
Dominican
off.
Republic has
Him and
all
Sammy.
kinds.
I agree. So I thought Sammy Sosa was with
White,
them.
white, brown, gold, black. Dominican Republic it's got the whole.
Anyways,
the whole
it's
spectrum.
been a dope show. You guys are the best. Obviously, the part of the family, man. We love you guys.
Thank you guys for having
Thanks
us.
for coming on. This is a bonus episode of The Fighter and the Kid. We're out.